Yeah.
Welcome to All Gen Gamers, a podcast for people in video games of all generations. Starring Pete Dorr, Happy Console Gamer, Gamester81, and Jason Heine.
Welcome back to another episode of the All Gen Gamers. And this episode is episode 40. I can't believe it's episode 40. Can you believe that, Jason?
No, I was just saying the big 4-0, baby.
It's incredible. Pete, are you blown away?
Yes.
Oh, he's freaking floored.
Thrilled.
We're joined by the EMU, Jason Heine. How are you doing tonight?
I am wonderful. I'm really happy to be here, too.
And you got somebody sitting beside you.
I do. Who is this? This is Mr. Gamester81. John, hi.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Going down. And we're joined by Pete of Pete's Game Room. How you doing, Pete?
I'm 2 days clean of Final Fantasy 11. So
Oh, gee. That's the hell out of me.
doing quite well.
Congratulations, Pete.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
And our special guests tonight are Mike and Terence from ChargeBackForward, the show on YouTube, and an incredible show on YouTube. I'm blown away with your show, guys. I just wanted to say that, first of all.
Oh, thank you very much. We do appreciate that.
What up, Detroit? Yeah. So we're really happy to have you guys here to talk about video gaming and to talk about your show. To begin with, why don't we talk about, the name of your show and why you started it and kind of what it's about?
Well, ChargeBackForward started as an idea that I wanted to show off basically my crazy video game collection. But at the time, I was living in actually sharing a small apartment. And then and Terence and I became friends. And when I finally moved and was able to dedicate an entire room to the collection, we kind of, maybe felt a little jealous that other people were doing YouTube videos and kind of wanted to get on it and, introduce our own little unique look on things.
Well, you guys have, your game room is freaking amazing.
It's ridiculous how awesome it is.
Yeah, I like how you have everything displayed, too. The shelf that you use and the glass displays. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
You know what? The funny story with that is when I was first shopping to buy a place, my real estate agent was showing me different places, and she shows me this master bedroom that was 19 feet by 12 feet and with a walk-in closet, and she's going on how great this room is. And I'm like, yeah, bedroom. And the only thing I could think about was how I was going to tear everything out and put arcade machines in there.
The true gamer right there, folks.
How long did it take to put this together? I just want to say to the audience right now, go check out their show, ChargeBackForward, on YouTube. And so you can go and check out this amazing game room so you know what we're talking about
The
right
room
now.
tour is multiple videos long. It's what, 5, I believe it was?
It's 6 videos. And the funny thing about the game room tour, it's the very first thing that we filmed. So anybody that checks out our videos and has kind of gone through the canon, so to speak, can see that we've kind of gotten a hold of things a little better. But it's raw and it's fun and it's just amazing just listening to Big Mike ramble for an hour straight.
Yeah, I am a blubbering mess during those first few videos.
I think we all are when we first start, We've talked about that before.
But for collectors, it's a wonderful thing to see another collection that I wouldn't say you're jealous about in a great way. Like when I saw your stuff, I was like, oh my God, look, they got that version of Snatcher and they got that. And I'm just enamored with it. And I think that's just a cool thing when you're a collector of video games and you see some other people collecting stuff and they're collecting the same kind of genre as you. We're kind of in the same age group. So a lot of our collection is very similar. Didn't you say to me that you'd look at my videos and say, hey, I got to get that? Because I look at your videos and go, man, I need to get that game all the time.
Yeah, for sure. When you did your videos on, I remember the Forest East of Eden videos, you had all their games laid out and your Excel games and all that. I put it on pause. I'm like, and your Fantasy Star one especially was like, yeah, got it, need it. I'm like, what the hell's that? And I had to, kind of search it on eBay while I'm watching your video in one corner, and try to find it.
It's expensive. I find that looking at other people's collections, I'm all of a sudden, if the new game stuff episodes that say P does or Splatter Trigger, or any of you guys out there, I'm always going on eBay afterwards. It's not trying to compete. It's oh, I need that for my own stuff, or I never thought about that game, and now that's the game I'd like to get, type of thing. Yeah.
And it's not real money on eBay. It's just magical digital numbers, right?
PayPal's fake money. Yeah.
Monopoly money type of thing. So. But your videos are... Sorry, go for it.
No, I was just saying, if PayPal switched to like Microsoft points, we'd be in real trouble because then we'd have literally no idea what we're spending.
We don't know what in the hell it's worth.
Yeah, that'd be dangerous.
Easy. What kind of? I've always wanted to ask you guys. I'm just going to ask right now. How is that? What kind of camera do you use? Because I love the look of your show.
All right, so the camera that we use is the Canon EOS 7D, and we use it's out of sight right now, but it's you know what? This isn't live. I can grab it and tell you the exact lens.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, the camera quality is awesome. It's like freaking fantastic.
That's the first thing I noticed too.
Yeah,
We had a nice discussion when we were first getting ready for a camera and what we wanted to do. So he's got it in front of us now.
All right, so the thing is with the camera is when Big Mike and I started talking about doing the show, it was kind of a fun conversation. I mean, hell, the entire reason we were friends is because he was throwing out ads on Kijiji and Craigslist looking for games, complete in-box instruction books. And so I sent him a reply and he shows up and, I don't know what I had in my mind, but when he got out of the elevator and walked towards me, it was not what I was expecting. This big brute with tattoos. And
it was love at first sight.
It was love at first sight. He got into my place and I kind of had my stuff out for him to see, and we're just yapping about. And I think within 3 minutes we agreed that we were going to be friends, and that was the case. So
how many years ago was that now?
That was fall of 2008.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Cool.
So the camera. So we were talking about what kind of camera to get, and I guess at the time that we were getting ready to get our gear for the show, or starting to, there seemed to be a lot of ads in Best Buy and Future Shop for camcorders that literally had a YouTube badging on it, and I can only imagine what that would have been like. And where it primarily is Big Mike's collection that we're showing off, I always have had a love for film, and I've never taken any film in school, no classes, no nothing. And I wanted to go from helping my friends do stuff to start from scratch and kind of do more or less everything, between us. So I wanted a good camera, and I spent a couple of months researching. So we got the Canon EOS 7D body.
How much was that camera? How much was it, out of curiosity?
The body goes for about $1,600, no lens.
Oh, hey.
Wow.
And so if you get the kit that we got, it comes with Geek Speak coming, an EFS 15 to 85 millimeter image stabilizer ultrasonic lens. So it's a wide angle lens. That's why you see the interesting look, like when we do our unboxing videos and we're able to get so much in there. Like, you would not believe how close the camera is when we do that stuff. And over time, we've got some more equipment and we've really piled on it, but we kind of had a commitment early on that, we're going to pool our money and get good stuff. And because we pooled our money, we can eat soup versus eating nothing.
Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
Mr. Noodle's only 29 cents a pack, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember for when I got my camera, I saved for months and months and months, like so long. I'd always had these kind of cruddy cameras. I was like, I've had enough. I spent a good chunk of change on it. And then, I ate cheap, and I was really cheap after that for a long time but it was just so worth it to have it, right?
Hey, Johnny, remember I was mentioning to you I was going to get a camera?
Yes.
I finally ordered one.
What did you order?
It's on back order, actually, so I ordered it, and hopefully it'll come soon. It's a Canon XA10.
Canon, I'm gonna look that up.
It's
Canon.
It's a XA10. It's a professional camera. It's a little brother to what you have, essentially.
Okay, sorry. Say that one more time so I can look it up.
Canon XA10.
A10. Oh, interesting.
It's brand new to the market, but I think what happened with Japan and the earthquake is it's actually delayed the production of it quite a bit. It's brand new, but we'll see.
Oh, is it brand new? It's got it's got XLR cables. On.
That is a sweet looking camera there, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I'm excited for it. It took me a while to save up for it, but I need it. I'm putting more money into the show. So
has it got a hard drive in it?
It's got a hard drive. I think it's 32 gigs, and then it's got the SD cards as well. So 2 slots.
Oh, that's
SD
really
cards.
awesome.
Yeah,
I'm taking a look at it right now, and it has stereo XLR jacks for microphones. That is tight.
It's exactly. It really seems like my camera. Totally.
Yeah, and it's small and compact, so it doesn't look intimidating when you're walking around with it. And
well, you know what? My camera's like 5 or 6 years old now, so they've probably condensed it a lot, which is great.
Yeah.
That's cool. That way you can, take it around with you and not be so obtrusive like I am.
Yeah.
I get kicked out of everywhere if I'm filming. If I bring out my camera, like, get out of here. The security guards are chasing me.
Really? That's funny. Well, PAX didn't kick you out, though.
No, they can't because they have a policy where you can film anywhere.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I remember when we were there at PAX, there's this girl, she's doing cosplay for like some video game. And so she's there in front of the video game display and all that. And so she's posing. So there's all these people taking photographs. And then I pull up my camera to get what I would probably use in the show, probably about 2 or 3 seconds worth of footage of her just standing there. You know, I didn't zoom in on her breasts or anything like that. Who gives a fuck? I'm just about to do that. She's like, you're not videotaping me, are you? I'm like, no. I said, I'm doing still photography.
I was there when that happened. I remember that.
Yeah. I was just like, why you get, it's the bigger cameras seem intimidating.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so, but all these smaller cameras now are way more powerful than the camera I have. You know, like we're talking like little ones, like they look like digital cameras. You know, they're way awesome. They're little handheld.
That's the problem with technology, though. The instant you buy it, it's already outdated. Like I thank God every night I go to bed that our camera is still rated one of the best digital SLRs.
Oh, definitely.
We sunk so much money into it.
Yeah. And it's funny, you guys learned how to edit as you went along too.
Yeah, up until recently, I was actually using iMovie, and which is great. You know, it was able to. I was able to understand the fundamentals of editing because I've watched a lot of movies, so I understood what was going on. But it became really cool that moment where I was watching a movie and I started to judge it on how it's edited. And recently, I've gone on to Final Cut Pro 7, and I'm doing it blind right now. I actually haven't trained in it. I'm going to be doing that in the next couple of months, so I'm just tinkering right now.
Yeah, if you want to, share some ideas and stuff like that, this with editing, I can share some of the small things I figured out that I might make things a little bit easier. Because I had to learn
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Nobody taught me. I spent months trying to make, like, do some editing. And I sucked. It was terrible. It took me like years to get anywhere with Final Cut, but Final Cut's where it's at. It's really good.
It is where it's at, but if you come in as a novice, it is daunting.
I went in as a novice. It just was insane. This was totally...
My hat's off to you, Johnny. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was a really nutty program. You use Final Cut now, don't you, John?
No, I use iMovie, and then I'm kind of same thing. I'm kind of teaching myself, and it's a steep learning curve. You know, it's but
we can all help each other. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Totally.
So I have a question for Terence and Big Mike. Where do you guys find your games? I mean, any particular local area, or do you have any websites, or what are your secrets of finding all these?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. Actually, I go on hunts quite often. I have a few stores, maybe a couple hours away from me, that sell retro games at a very reasonable price. Like I actually know the owner personally. I've known him for a few years, so it's nice to hit there. And I do a lot of pre-books through import sites, but I try to stay away from eBay. But at this point, unfortunately, a lot of the local stores seem to be a little seduced by seeing games go for big money and automatically think, everything is worth $40 to $50.
Right.
So sometimes, eBay is the cheapest place to go. But no, I have a few local stores.
And then there's times where it's not the local stores. A couple times a year, Big Mike gets this crazy itch where he wants to be behind a wheel for like 20 hours. So we actually documented the last one, which I think we released a video somewhere around January. It's called Level 3, where we did the pilgrimage to the digital press, and we did it in one day.
Yeah, that was. I remember when we were first talking about that, everyone's like, "Why don't we get a hotel or rent the car for an extra day?" I'm like, "No way. I said I can do it. I should have been a truck driver for a living. I'll do it 17 hours driving in one shot." And
wow.
We've done that trip. Me and Terence have done it together, I think 3 times.
Yeah, we've done that, and we've gone into Ohio, and we've hit up the what's the name of those stores in Ohio?
Other store, the stores in Ohio, the Exchange and the Record Exchange. We've hit those, and that was another, because that was multiple stores, so that was probably a good another 10, 12 hours of.
No, it was more than that.
Well, that's true. That's 10, 12 hours just to get there. Yeah. So to answer your question, it's you have to be I'm a bit of a mental case. So
he goes blind. He sets up this shit on his vacation, and he drives down there blind because he can go down there and not get anything. Oh well, at least we came. We went to Clifton, New Jersey. Awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you guys.
Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
Looking back at it, you guys traveled a very long way. You did the video. We went to digital press. Looking back at it, was it truly worth the trip to go there?
The first 2 trips I did definitely, or the first few I should say, definitely were. That one is the one you saw, which is our last trip, was not up until when we were getting ready to leave, and I looked in the cabinet and saw Beyond Shadowgate for the Turbo Duo sitting there. And they I believe they only wanted, what I pay for, like $100 or something like that.
You bled through the ass for it one way or another.
Yeah, and I decided, okay, that makes it worth it. But when we were doing the trip and you see the video and I'm only got a couple games in my hand, and at that point, like I remember my first trip, like my trunk was just full, and the only thing I could think of was like, how am I going to get past customs without paying duties? That's the only thing I was thinking of.
I didn't know that. So that video you filmed wasn't the first time you went there then? Oh.
No, that was, for me, that was the sixth time, and the third time Terence and I together.
And since we had the show going at that point, I'm like, screw this. I'm bringing the camera, and we're making something out of this.
Yeah, it's a cool store. I was there probably a couple months ago, 3 months ago, and it's pretty sweet. Pete, you're not too far. You should make it out there.
Yeah, I know. I definitely need to get out there. Not like I need to spend more money at the moment.
I was impressed with their just variety of games. They had everything from, like you mentioned, TurboGrafx 16. They had Atari 2600. They had some homebrews. So it was cool.
I think the thing that impressed me the most about the place, and being behind the camera at the most recent time, was their museum setups where they showed some really obscure old game systems, and then I guess in the area where people would sit down with PCs and play online games, they had some really nice artwork that was directly video game inspired, and it was just beautiful. Like I really took it back. Like here's this chaos of this, like it was a candy store for anyone that loves video games. There's just so many video games, but then you kind of take a moment and you breathe and you look into the museum and you see like crazy stuff. We were staring at a Pippin. I don't think I've ever been in the presence of a Pippin until that moment.
Nice. Well, how long have you guys been collecting for now? Like, because it's funny, a lot of people will ask any of us, oh, you must have bought all that collection. You must have spent thousands on it. Like as though we bought it in a day. And everybody knows that I guess the collection's built up over time. So when did you guys start collecting? Like what age? When did you kind of become kind of fanatics with it? Like,
for me, I guess it would have been in my early teenage years. I had my first system was a Sega Master System, and then after a Genesis with a Model 1 Sega CD, and it kind of went from there. And I did the mistake that most collectors make over the course of time. They'll actually sell off games to get other games and whatnot. But I think by the time I was in my early 20s, I was going on to eBay and I was looking for some fun, rare Mega Drive Genesis games and whatnot. And then that's what led Big Mike and I to knowing each other, because I was moving a lot over the course of a couple of years, and I just felt that every place I moved to, on my entire collection just kept in the boxes that I was transporting them in. So it's like, you know what, I got to find someone. I wasn't really hungry for money. I was just looking for someone that would give, like a fair price, but would have the commitment to not sell them and, like give them a home. And so that's where Big Mike comes in.
And for me, collecting started a little bit earlier. I would say back in '82, when my opened up at Christmas, got my first Intellivision system. And just kind of started from there. And I was always, even as a kid, a bit of a nutcase when it came to games. Like for me, they always had to have the box, instructions, and back then inlays. And then my dad got together with this woman who hated video games and refused to let me touch them and collect them. And that, of course, had the exact opposite effect, where I started just going crazy and just say everything I can get my hands on. And even if I bought a game and I hated it, I wouldn't sell it. I would just keep it anyway. And it got to the point where it was just like this boxes and boxes of stuff. And then I think I drained all the stores in our area of anything. Like so I had to start putting like ads on Kijiji and Craigslist, and that's how Terence and I met, just like looking for people wanting to sell off their stuff, because the stores no one was bringing collectible stuff in anymore. So I had to go down that road.
And what's cool about that is, since he absorbed the majority of my collection, there's certain things I kept back. I was not parting with the majority of my Dreamcast stuff, because I love that system to death. But it's kind of fun going over to his place. And first off, when people go into his room and they see it for the first time, no pictures, no video can set you up for it. I don't think I've seen a single person that loved video games who went in that room and did not cry. There was everyone shed a tear. And so for me, I'm used to it because I'm over there every week, but I love kind of going through and kind of finding, the games that were once mine, and the fact that they're still there, and I can, they have a good home now. It's like having a litter of kittens or something and finding good homes for them all.
Yeah. I got a question for both of you guys. This is tough, but what is your favorite game of all time? Like, I really want to hear that from you guys. It's hard, I know.
Maids with Balloons.
Maze with balloons is a
it really is hard, and I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna give you two because they're constants. And it's dead even. I can't pick one over the other. So Lunar and Shenmue.
Nice.
And for me, I'm going to pick, again, it's extremely hard. I could probably give you the top 10 very easily, but the number one, I'm going to break down and say Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Nice.
Good choice.
Yeah. You can never go wrong with that one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I know it's a cop-out answer and not saying something like kind of unique, but it is.
No, you're not supposed to have some strange Japanese, games.
Well, there always is Snatcher, right?
No, Snatcher. And you guys have a crazy Snatcher collection going on there. That's nuts. I'm very jealous of that. Very jealous.
Mike has a massive Japanese. You know how they used to draw like Japanese art that was risque, I guess back in the 1600s, where these Japanese men like samurais would have huge, bulbous, disproportionate, erect penises. That's what Big Mike has for Snatcher. There are no limits to what this guy will do to complete the collection. And
what do you have for the Snatcher collection then? Take us through that. This is pretty impressive.
Sure. Okay. So I've got the PC Engine Snatcher, the pilot disc for the PC Engine, the Sega CD, the MSX Snatcher, the SD Snatcher on the MSX, and just very recently, we're going to unveil it right here.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, so any of our fans that end up listening to this or soon-to-be new fans, so they've seen that we got a bit of a series going with the Snatcher videos because we've done a crazy unboxing for both the MSX
I saw it.
Snatcher and then Level 5 where we did a crazy Apocalypse Now parody to get the SD Snatcher. Big Mike floored me, and I walked into his room and fuck me silly. There was the PC-88 version of Snatcher, which is by far the rarest. And I wanted to strangle him because he kept it for me for a week.
Yeah, I had it for a while. I wasn't saying squat until anyone came over. But also, so that's all I've got the PlayStation and the Saturn version as well. And also art books and soundtracks. And I checked...
collection card.
Yeah, and the cards as well. Yeah, so I checked junkerhq.net, and it looks like I'm only missing a couple little collectible items, like maybe a CD or two. And
I'd like to actually talk a brief second about junkerhq.net. Yep. So the gentleman that runs the site, his name's Armito, and this dude, I'm telling you, class act. We actually used his site as a reference for what was what in the Snatcher world. So we started a bit of a correspondence, just kind of sending him a video of Level 1, our series premiere, which was the MSX2 Snatcher unboxing. So we've actually kept in a bit of contact since. And when we got around to doing Level 5, which was the SD Snatcher video, we had now done 3 Snatcher videos and a bit of back and forth. And he very graciously volunteered to actually put the links to those videos tied into his picture collection of the appropriate items, like the MSX2 version of Snatcher, SD Snatcher, and then the collection card. So you can actually go to his site, go to the merchandise, click through it, you'll be able to see all the pictures of what's in it, and then the last link is our video. And that's so cool, man, because there's certain things, like I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. Like I've over the past while, like I've all my free time where I'm out, I'm walking, I'm working out, I'm listening to your show, right? So, and it was really, really freaky, like talking to you guys, because I'm like, wait a minute, I've been listening, like, God, I was listening to you guys this afternoon, and now you're reacting to us. But there's certain moments, guys, where like it's not like, oh, we're big or we're this or that, but I was so humbled that what we considered an authority on a subject included our work into into the canon of exposing these collector items to everybody. I was just speechless.
Like, if you don't mind my asking, see, I'm gonna prod in here. If you don't want to answer, no problem. How much was the PC-88 version of Snatcher? Because that is really rare, isn't it?
Okay, hold on. I'm butting into this guy. I thought he paid $400 for it. Yeah. But Big Mike is a crazy guy, and he won't even tell me. He's looking at me right now.
No, basically, I paid actually less for it than any of the other ones, even though it's the rarest one.
Oh, wow.
I ended up going to a Japanese auction site where you basically commissioned a company to bid for you because it's all in Japanese. And the search engine's really fussy because everything's in Japanese and it doesn't understand too much English. And I actually found one. It was only 5,000 yen. So after shipping and commission, it worked out to about $100 Canadian, which is far less than I paid for the MSX ones. I can tell you that much.
Wow.
I would never guess that. Like the big Mike likes to keep suspense going on certain things for me. He enjoys like just torturing me with this stuff. And actually, that's me hearing that, and that just blows my mind. And considering how long he's been looking for it, and how just like he said, he got it from a Japanese site, not eBay. So I was assuming, since it just was not on eBay, that he must have paid an astronomical price. Mm-hmm. But good on Mike for not only being a collector, but getting a decent price on it.
Are you a fan of Police Knots?
Yes, we are. One of the hardest things I let go in the collection swap was my copy of, I guess it was the black box of Police Knots. And like everybody else, like trying to play this game in Japanese was impossible. So I got down on my knees in front of the computer when I got my hands on the fan translation. And I was so goddamn happy. And Johnny, I was actually listening to you talk in an older episode about Police Knots and how happy you were. Let me tell you, man, you're not the only one. It rocked.
It's really good, and I'm still on the first disc. I don't want to say where I'm at in case anybody's listening and get pissed off if I give a spoiler. But the funny thing, Police Knots is actually at work is my wallpaper, and it's kind of my reminder. Get back to playing it, because that's cool. It's I like Snatcher. I think Snatcher's a good game, but I think it kind of and I'm not knocking it. I would love to have your collection. But Snatcher kind of shows his age, where Police Knots is like a refined version of Snatcher. Wouldn't you say then?
Yeah,
I'm not knocking. Snatcher's an ultimate classic, but it's funny. Police Knots is a lot more enjoyable to play. It's like they really kind of, like Kojima really figured it out with Police Knots.
With one exception, though, Johnny. Like let me tell you, we love Kojima. Don't know, right? We love this guy, but he is flat out an absolute pervert.
Oh, totally.
And actually, I can speak for Big Mike and get his nod for me right now. But the level of subtle perverseness in Snatcher was funny and almost endearing, right? But playing Police Knots, it actually at certain points distracted from the experience for me. What about you, Mike?
I completely disagree. I enjoyed the boob touching in Police Knots.
It was all space physics on the breasticles as they were gibbling about. I was just like, "What is going on?"
There's some seriously funny moments in Police Knots. I couldn't believe it.
You piqued my interest in the game.
You have to, John, go into
Maybe we piqued something else.
Yeah, not the only thing.
More ways than one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you gotta go to my Facebook, John. When I was playing the game, I was playing it, and my girlfriend was watching, and I was in this one scene in the game. I'm just trying to find the shot. Oh, fuck, I don't know. It's probably disappeared. But I just couldn't believe how much fantastic perversion there was in the game. I was just like, holy crap. They're really going for broke in this. Let's see.
When did this game come out?
Oh, you guys.
I honestly don't know much about it, to be honest with you.
Ballpark, let's say 94.
Yeah,
94,
it came out in the 3DO originally, which actually I bought that version and the pilot disc for that one. But those, I think 94 was when that version came out, and then it was then re-released on the Saturn and the PlayStation Japan maybe a year or two later.
Right on.
So is the translation like that these guys did? Is it actually what the real was really being said in the actual game itself?
Okay, so from what I understand, first off, I've done what I've heard you guys do all the time. I hit Wikipedia. So Police Knots came out in 1995 on the 3DO, and then 96 on PlayStation and Saturn. I think with the translation, I've played it all the way through, and it really feels like they had a great time with it, and it really reminded me of how Working Designs used to treat some of their translations. God rest that company in peace, because they were the shit. But I feel that there's one part that may not have been, they may have done themselves, and I do not want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't played or hasn't gone that far. That being said, when it happened and it linked to something else that was near and dear to me. So I freaked out. I'm like, oh my God. And so I was praying that it was a literal translation, but even if it wasn't, I can't understand Japanese. So I'm none the wiser.
Oh, interesting. Like, it's so funny. I found the picture on my Facebook that I took with my iPhone just because I couldn't believe it. And I was playing the game. So in the game, it's a text adventure. I walk up, I'm in a hospital, and I walk up to the receptionist desk, and there's 3 girls there, and I guess hot anime girls, right? They're at the desk there. Anyways, I'm sitting there, and you have like a point and click, right? We're already getting the fun here already, and you can't help it. You can't help it. What's that?
It's like Leisure Suit Larry.
Kind of, yeah, totally like that. And so you're sitting there, and there's a girl in the back. She's kind of like looking at a screen or something, and you can't help but do it. I don't know anybody who could resist doing it. Girl or guy, you have to click on her ass. You just have to do it. And all of a sudden, as soon as you do, it actually says, it goes, "Look at that ass. I would eat anything off that ass." And I'm like, I started laughing. I'm like, I like this game. This game's like reality.
That's the benefit of a Fran translation, is because they don't have to answer to anybody on what they put in it.
Well, that's the thing, and I'm thinking, did Kojima originally say that? Was that part of the original game? I'm like, maybe they had, and you can tell they had a lot of fun. The translation is so fantastic. Like when they describe aspects of the Policenauts world, it's so in detail. It's like a real science fiction movie. I'm blown away by it. I really got to get back to it. Have to do that. So,
I got a quick question for you, Johnny. Were you playing that in front of your girlfriend by any chance?
Yes.
Was there any dirty looks being shot at you?
For what?
Or if she saw any of the naughtier bits that were in the game? Because I'm telling you, I was injured and like couch ridden when I was playing that game. Yeah. And my girlfriend gave me the dirtiest look when I grabbed some titty.
No, my girlfriend likes that kind of stuff. She would like, rip off her clothes. Like just because it's such a cartoony video game, right?
But the game, that's like, it's beyond your control, though.
I know.
I just couldn't help but put the cursor over her bosom and press A.
Yeah, I did anything off that ass.
I taunt your girlfriend about it. Look what I'm doing to her, honey. Check that out. I'd eat anything out of that ass.
Out of it or on it?
Any of it.
There's a difference between eating something on it or in it.
In it, on it.
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah, fantastic game. Totally. So
it's tough. I'll check it out.
So, what do you guys want to do? You guys want to do questions, or how about we talk about some stuff that's happening in the gaming world?
Let's just do it.
There's a lot going on.
Go for it.
I think the first thing we should mention is this Project Cafe by Nintendo. You guys have seen pictures that
just
are
recently,
around?
like the last couple of days.
Yeah,
we've seen some concept stuff. Yeah,
some concept. Yeah. So this guy PMs me on Facebook. I'm not sure how legit it is, to be honest with you, but he sends me this picture, and then a couple days later, this picture hits the internet, and I think he sent it to all of us. Yeah, he tagged all of us, right? Yeah.
Was that the Nintendo high def thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Stream HD.
It's called Project Cafe, codename Project Cafe.
Yeah.
And, he emails me a picture, and then I'm like, how do I know this is legit? And he comes on to tell me that his friend supposedly is the guy who, like, he works for the company who helped design the box for Nintendo. Again, how legit is it? I don't know. But I mean, from what I've seen, it kind of looks like interesting. The controllers are almost like GameCube controllers with mini built-in HD screens.
Okay. And first of all, I'm glad someone brought back the screen. I was surprised after the Dreamcast, no one brought back the screen and the controller. That's I was surprised it took someone like 12 years to bring those back.
But my question is, how much are these controllers going to cost on their own, and how many, if it's the case, and how many controllers are included in the system? Because if you're going to drop $100 for a controller, then fuck that, And I'm
not sure Nintendo will ever have a business model where they will lose money on a console.
Right.
Let's face it. When the 3DS came out, guys, they flat out said, we're going to make profit on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah. So the guy, we've exchanged emails back and forth, and he's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be like the iPhone meets 3DS meets the Wii or something like that. I don't know. I didn't quite understand what he was but I guess you can surf on the internet through your controller, supposedly.
Well, with the name like Project Cafe, you'd think it'd have a lot of the social networking stuff built in. As we all know, the 3DS with the Street Pass and whatnot already has, right?
So it begs the question: is Nintendo getting rid of the wireless motion control?
No, I said they are though, aren't they? Oh no, that's right. I read that they're still keeping it in.
They would have to, because like mind you, them getting are we still on here?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. When Nintendo brought about the Wii, it was such a unique concept. Yes, like that control scheme has been done, before, it's fallen completely under the radar. But the fact that they were able to do it and they released the best tech demo of all time, which is Wii Sports, it really got people intrigued in video games. So I'm not sure it is going to be successful, but I'm not sure to what extent, because if you have people that, would buy that and they're just bowling on Wii Sports, I'm not sure how much the casual gamer is going to care about plunking down $400 on a new system. That being said, the ones that are going to go and buy it, they're going to want to waggle with the controller, and they're going to want that familiarity. So I think it would be in Nintendo's best interest to keep a variation of that control scheme, especially since it's backwards compatible.
And looking at the history of Nintendo and their systems, they've always been, at least lately, backwards compatible. You look at the 3DS, they can play DS games. You look at the Wii, it can play GameCube games. So my guess is that this system will be able to play Wii games. But I mean, you brought up a good point. Will the casual gamer roll over to the new more expensive Nintendo system?
I think it's going to have to go beyond waggle though, because look at the Kinect. I mean, people are starting to compare the Kinect to the Wii, and the Wii doesn't have any. They're converting Wii owners to the Kinect at a very rapid rate, so they're definitely going to have to move beyond waggle. I'm thinking, I don't know, is it supposed to have a camera in it by chance? I mean, look how expensive we're getting here, right? Like, we're all thinking of these extraordinary things this controller can do, but like you said, how cheap can they keep it? If you're going to have 4-player games, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's got to be it has to be under like $80 per controller.
I imagine there'll probably be touchscreen too, possibly.
Yeah, I believe that is one of the rumors.
When you think about it, like even in today's world, how hard is it to make it a touchscreen? How hard is it to leave in, the motion control? It's not difficult to do all these things.
It's just expensive to do those things.
Exactly. They keep piling on, and like Pete said, I mean, even $80 a controller, and that's just just throwing a figure out there. Even that's freaking expensive.
And with the high quality of the screen as well, like they've outright said the screens on the controller will be running in HD, so they're not going to be some low res screen built in there either.
Yeah, totally.
Think of how crazy it would be if there was a camera on if they had some kind of technology where, say, you're playing like a first person shooter and you hold the controller up as sort of like your viewfinder, sort of, and you move around the room. I don't know, I'm just trying.
That'd be great for sniper rifles.
Yeah, I'm just trying to picture where the hell. It's going to have some kind of big online functionality. I'm thinking that it's sort of going to go in the direction of NGP and kind of you're going to be able to take the controller with you outside of your home. I'm thinking it's almost going to be like an iPad where you can access the Wii dashboard from outside the home, where you can play games possibly from outside the home. I'm thinking something like that.
I don't know.
Access your friends list. I have no idea.
I hope they get rid of the friend code. God,
I love it. Didn't you get mine last time, John? It was John. Get it again. It was 1, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
11.
Get this time.
But Nintendo has a lot of work to do with online. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, this will be online. I'm assuming HD online, which a lot of Nintendo fans are hoping for. I think it'd be a huge mistake if they don't.
Here's the thing with the 3DS, the online capability with that is a huge step up. The only big problem with it is, and if they eliminate this, it would actually not be too bad. Your friend code is like a gamer tag. It's not that bad as long as you keep it on hand and you can give it to people. But the thing is, both people have to add each other's numbers to get on your friends list. So if it was like Xbox Live, where it's like, okay, this is this person's gamer tag, let me try and add them, and then they can see what you're playing and whatnot. But no, it's like you have to exchange numbers, which kind of sucks.
And I don't see a microphone. Has anybody mentioned a microphone? Not at all. So
no, but I would willing to bet there's one built into the controller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. There's got to be.
I'll be spitting on my controller then. That's great. Yeah. So,
or they could do the like the Kinect thing and have the microphone. With Kinect, you don't even need the headset anymore, right? You can just talk into the air.
It's such a shitty mic. The Kinect mic. I mean, I've played it with the mic.
We've heard Gamester, use it.
It's so echoey because it picks up everything, and it's like, it's a terrible. I would never use that for mic.
Terrible.
Terrible.
It's really terrible.
Terrible bullshit. Terrible bullshit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Nintendo does with the system. And I mean, who knows how much it's going to cost? The release date, you know?
It's 2012. I think.
2012?
Yeah.
That's the word, but
Yeah.
sorry, Johnny. You guys have any idea how Nintendo is with keeping up to their promises for console launches?
Are they good?
I'm trying to remember. Like, I'm trying to remember if we went on longer than it was supposed to. Because I know the N64 was delayed quite a bit. I just can't think of how they were with the GameCube and the Wii.
As far as I remember, the Nintendo 64 was the only console that really missed the mark.
Yeah, they had wasn't it a problem with the chipsets? They had that's why the AC plug looks so odd in the system. Yeah.
Yep. Other than that, I don't think that they were delayed all that much.
No, it wasn't like Sega, where Sega changed their mind like last second. And, you know,
Yeah.
Here's an interesting point. Supposedly, Microsoft and Sony are not bringing out their new console in 2014. So let's just say that Nintendo brings out the Wii successor in 2012. How isn't that going to screw up the whole idea of console generations? Because normally they all sort of come out around almost the same time within the same year. So like, what the hell is going to go on here? Is this going to be like half a generation console? Like, it's going to get really almost eliminating the console generation, wouldn't you say?
I would say it's almost a bit dangerous to let Nintendo have basically 2 years to themselves with a next generation system. Because look what happened to Microsoft. Like, they released the Xbox a year earlier, and they were, doing only moderately well with the Xbox, and suddenly, they've taken Sony, who was in first place for 2 generations, and surpassed them. And a lot of that may have to do with, the year they had by themselves.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think Sony. Go ahead, Jason.
Let's not forget, we're also talking about Nintendo, folks. You know what I mean? These guys have a following like you wouldn't believe.
Well, remember though, the GameCube didn't do that well. The GameCube was not a success for Nintendo. So the problem is they bring out this new machine. It's kind of on par with a PS3 and a 360. And as these guys said, all of a sudden Sony and Microsoft are just watching, going, "Okay, you're doing that." Boom, trump them.
But
so
if you look
it's very scary.
Who said that the graphics are going to be on par?
This is Nintendo we're speaking of here.
Yeah.
I love Nintendo, but I'm saying they don't really. I've never seen them outdo anybody. They might outdo everybody for half a year. The way it's going to go here.
Here's the thing, guys, about that is who won this generation's console war years ago, and is so far ahead it's ridiculous. Who cares about number of games attached to each system? But the Wii pretty much left the 360 and the PS3 in the dust, to the point that nobody even talks about the Wii anymore. In that it's like it's always the race for second place. And let's face it, what is the Wii other than a GameCube with motion control? But no one seemed to care about that.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Wii has dropped off over the last year.
Yeah, I agree.
And Microsoft and especially Sony has really risen high. They have to do something. They sold a lot initially. Absolutely, it was a massive success. They were the winners, but the winners don't last forever.
Yeah, Nintendo's been very smart in their strategy. It's always been innovation and cost. They've always been the cheaper of the games. They're always very conscious of how much people want to pay for a system. They've also been very innovative as far as with a DS with a touchscreen. I mean, yes, technology has been around for a while, but look what they did with it, and look at the motion control with the Wii. That technology was way ahead before the Wii. But look at what they did with the Wii.
Just the way they implemented it.
It's the way they
brought
implement
it to the masses.
They take something and they make it 10 times better, and they make it cost effective for the consumer to purchase.
Nintendo is just an expert at making things fun.
Right.
Exactly.
So
I was going to say, I think Sony is the one that's going to be in trouble later on, because you look at the Kinect. That thing is doing so well, much better than I thought it would ever do. What about you guys? I mean, that thing is selling. It got nominated as like the fastest selling piece of electronic equipment ever, more so than the iPad and iPod. And,
yeah, I did read that. Yeah.
I remember I purchased it. I remember back in the day, I was like, "Oh man, why are you getting this? Why are you getting it?" Or there was some hesitancy. Or one of you guys was like, "Remember, I said, oh yeah, I'm going to pick it up," and you guys were like, "Oh, why are you getting it?" But yeah, I mean, there's some good games for it.
I think it actually caught the industry off guard, because if you notice, only 2 or 3 Kinect releases have come out since its launch. So I think the rest of the industry was just saying, yeah, we'll make you a launch game and that's it. And then they're like, oh crap, 10 million units. I guess we better start programming again.
Yeah.
But Sony, it's like the Move is not doing well for them. They're bringing out Move games, but they're just not there's not that must-have title out there yet. Like even SOCOM just came out, which we'll get to in a bit here with the PSN outage crap. But there's no must-have move title, and I still haven't bought it. There's nothing out there that truly interests me. And the games that are probably the better games, like Killzone and SOCOM and whatnot, like you can use the regular controller, which I honestly think I'd probably prefer. But I have not played it yet, so I can't truly say. However, come when Nintendo brings out their new system and the Kinect is still doing really well, I think Sony's going to be the one that's going to really start hurting. And the only thing that's going to save them are their great, they always come out with some good blockbuster first-party titles. But I think they'll be the ones in trouble.
So, Pete, is it safe to say that the Move isn't moving?
Oh, I love it.
I don't know specific numbers, but I would assume so, yes.
God damn.
The no
But
move.
as exactly what Jason said and John said, I think we've all said, is that Nintendo's going to come in and do something really unique. And I think they're going to catch everybody off guard because they're not just going to come in and say, here's a controller, here's another machine. They're going to do something unique. And that's what I'm most excited about. Like, what are they going to do?
It's like they blew your mind with the 3DS. They blew your mind with the Wii.
Yeah,
like,
it's so true.
Yeah,
It's so true.
You look at the Virtual Boy, that was unique. And look what it did for them.
Well, come on, Joe. I'm trying to be happy here.
All right. Trying to be positive.
Well, here's a question then for everybody. We'll start with you, John.
Sure.
And this is very early on, you guys, so this is a big question. But this next Nintendo console that's coming out, sight unseen right now, would you day one?
Yes, I would.
I'll be online for that shit.
Yeah.
10 days ahead.
I would, depending on the the prices.
No. Would you or would you not? $400.
$400? Yeah, I'll be there.
Johnny?
Oh, God. I'll be in line for that shit. Yeah, no, I'll definitely be there for that. Do you know if it was $600? I'll be there for that shit.
All right. To our guest, Big Mike. Terrence, what do you got there?
Definitely yes. I will blow up the air mattress like I slept on to wait for the Wii.
Nice.
And I'm going to be the devil's advocate here, is I've actually turned my nose up at getting things day one. Reason is I spent far too many cold nights for the Wii and the PS3, and I'm actually still not over it. And I didn't get the 3DS at launch, and I'm not feeling too bad about it right now. I definitely will pick it up, but not yet.
He keeps on playing mine, that's why.
Shut up. But if they come out,
start coming out like the Zeldas and the Star Foxes, which how do you guys feel about that? There's a lot of polarized views about people kind of angry about all these ports that they're bringing to the 3DS. Meanwhile, I don't know if you guys have seen, but they released some screenshots for the Zelda game on 3DS. It is like completely remade. They've
totally
ditched the old graphic style. It looks totally different.
I was looking at in Nintendo Power, and they showed a screenshot of the older version and the newer version, and they've done a really classy job of upgrading it. They haven't just like put some new textures in there and said called it a day. They've really handcrafted it to look really nice. So good for them.
I love the fact that they're re-releasing one of the best games ever made, and like I never see a problem with that. Like taking something that's great and making it even better,
and making it accessible to a generation that has never experienced it before. Let's face it, handhelds have historically been geared initially towards the younger demographics. So I think that game is an excellent game to get into a young person's hands. I think it's a great move. And for those that are naysaying, don't buy it. It's that simple. Nintendo's still going to make their money.
Totally. Running around Hyrule in 3D? Oh, I'm in.
Nintendo does. I mean, they always do those ports. Look at the DS when it first came out. They just ported a lot of N64 games for the DS. I mean, it's nothing new. But I guess, Pete, your point is that it's upgrade graphics?
Yes, but it's upgraded in a way that makes it worthwhile to, definitely pick up again, even if you've played the game a million times.
Right.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of ports. I don't mind ports at all, even if it's the exact same freaking game. If it's giving me a new way to play it on a handheld, not in the way that some people do, like emulation and such, but, heck, having it on a handheld in 3D with a new graphic engine is going to be awesome. And they just announced that Star Fox on the 3DS is also going to use the gyroscope, so you can play the game by tilting around the 3DS, which should be interesting.
That's going to be cool. Are you guys shocked how easy it is to find a 3DS in stores?
Oh,
yes.
I won't say anything, but let me just say there's tons of them around. And I actually got some information about that. I don't
Do
want
you
to
guys remember prior to its release, we were thinking
Right.
they were going to sell out and be scarce and rare.
It's actually worse than
And
that.
it's actually
The eBay scalpers are losing money on eBay. They're
Yeah.
having to resell the ones they bought as extras, and they're losing money on
yeah,
them.
they totally are. And I was looking on eBay. I'm like, I may be able to pick up one, cheaper. What the fuck?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Some information I heard is that it's really, and I know there's some information out there on the net, but I kind of seen a little bit of it firsthand. There's a lot of them, and I think they're coming back to stores faster than they should.
Well, it's
Like,
sold-
sorry, back to places than they should. They should be selling more rather than what they're doing right now.
or it could be just a case too that Nintendo was actually maybe ready this time. They actually have.
I would agree with that. How them being proactive finally.
Well, I think the reason is a lot of kind of like why Rob didn't get it day one is because there's not a lot of software that he personally wanted, and I totally understand that. I feel like I jumped the gun by buying one. There wasn't a lot of software that I really needed to have. Like Ocarina of Time is something I want to have, and In Time, and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people are holding out, not because the machine sucks or anything like that. They're just waiting. They're waiting for the price to drop. They're waiting for an XL version or whatever, better games. But I think the sales will pick up. It's just like the DS at first wasn't a huge success. It built up with great software over time, and then it became a massive success. I think we'll see the same thing again in time.
Same could be said about the Game Boy Advance too. If you remember, the old model with the screen problems didn't do so well. Then as soon as they released the SP, it was flying off the shelves.
Yeah. I had so much trouble seeing that screen back in the day. I remember going out and holding in the light, and I still couldn't see it. I was like, oh God, this is supposed to be in color, and I can't even see it.
I actually imported one from Japan. I couldn't even wait for the American release, so so mine cost me like an extra $150, and then I realized I had to play it in front of like a giant window so I could see my F-Zero.
Thank you, Nintendo. Wow. But
So some devastating news for SOCOM fans and Portal 2 fans and Mortal Kombat fans that own a PS3. PSN has been down for, a week now? I think it's like exactly a week.
Today,
and this podcast is going to be a week out too, so who knows
Christ.
by the time.
I am so glad that I'm not playing anything on PS3 online right now. Especially, I'm really glad, surprisingly, that I did not buy SOCOM on PS3, being the big SOCOM fan I am.
Are you serious, Pete?
yeah, I'm
serious?
surprised at that too.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because I was addicted to Final Fantasy XI when it came out, and I've been trying to hold back on buying new games because I'm trying to finish some old ones for once here. And thank God, PSN is actually down, which I don't really mind. I'm not that upset because I didn't buy the game yet anyway. But yeah, the SOCOM fans are up in arms because just imagine you've been waiting forever for a new online game to come out, and the day it comes out, the servers are down, and they've been down for a week.
But you know the reason behind it, Pete, right?
Yeah, go ahead and explain that.
It was a hacker who went on, I think it was Bill Gates, actually, from Microsoft. And he was pissed at Sony, so he decided to hack it. No, but seriously, there was a hacker that went on, and I guess he got access to people's bank accounts.
Yeah.
And all the people that could, so Sony just shut it down straight up and said, okay, we're going to look into this. But that's basically why they took it down.
And then today, now I don't know how credible again this is, but I heard that Sony announced that they're going to shut it down for another week as they completely rebuild the architecture for the network.
What?
Wow.
Now, yes, people will argue, you're not paying for the service, but what about the PlayStation Plus subscribers that are paying for it? How are they going to...
They're going to reimburse
They
it.
gotta
They're
give
going to have
something
to
back.
compensate them back
Yeah,
somehow.
They're probably going to give free games or something. What the
They'll
hell?
give them in-store credit for the PlayStation Store, but the PlayStation Store you can't access right now. So
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's and this comes to news that the Sony, didn't the PlayStation 3 get hacked? The system itself. And didn't we talk about that earlier? How someone had,
Yeah,
Isn't
we
this the
talked
same
about-
problem though? Isn't this the same?
no, someone hacked the server, where before I think someone hacked the system.
Oh, so we're talking about two different events.
I think
I thought this
Two
was
different events. I think that maybe I'm not some technical guy with this, but it's got to be related. They
Yeah.
cracked the PS3, and also PS3 servers
Yeah.
get cracked.
Yeah.
Get attacked. Sorry, there's
Yeah.
got to be connection there.
Yeah.
I was reading an article actually, and it was kind of funny the angle that they took at it, and they did a timeline of when I believe the hack's called Rebug, when it went live, and what it essentially did is it made the PS3 pretty much of like a developer kit, and with the functionality to get it back online. So you would be able to go onto the store and you would actually be able to buy games with fake credit cards, not stolen credit card numbers, fake credit card numbers. And so you could basically get unlimited access for free. And so I don't want to say that that's the reason why the network's down, but it was an interesting coincidence in terms of within days of it happening, everything shut down. So either way, like my heart goes out to those that really enjoy playing the online games. And it's actually funny, Pete, I was thinking about you because I was listening to an older episode and it was when you were talking about like how much you love SOCOM and the clan that you have, that you're part of, and how you guys migrate from game to game. And I saw an ad about SOCOM 4, and I'm like, man, Pete's going to be happy about that. And then
they were telling me to get on there, and I'll just say one thing: like they were telling me to get on the beta, and I was playing Final Fantasy 11. But this new SOCOM, from what I've watched, now granted I have not played it, but from what I've watched and heard from longtime fans, it is not SOCOM. Like they've changed some core gameplay elements, and supposedly it's a good game. It's supposedly a good standalone third-person shooter, but it is not SOCOM. So I'm not kind of.
What did they? AP. What did they change? Because I used to be a big fan of SOCOM too.
The little things like there's no arc, there's no like visible line when you're throwing your grenades anymore. The camera is zoomed in really fast. The biggest thing is that there's now cover-based gameplay where you can hug walls. Now, people that have played SOCOM in the past will always know that it's been a wall-hugging game. People put themselves behind corners, and you can kind of see when someone's coming and they pop out, and you pop out and you shoot them. But in the old school SOCOMs, you could not line up your shot while you were behind the wall. So you'd see somebody, but when you popped out, you'd have to have really, really fast reflexes to get your cursor on the enemy and shoot them, which took you had to be. I played a long, long time, and I was quite good at it. But in this one, the way the camera system works, while you're behind the walls and you're Gears of War style hugging a wall, you can put your cursor on the enemy. You can move your cursor around while they're moving, and basically pop out and shoot them the second you pop out. So you don't have to have any time to kind of recalibrate yourself. It's supposedly like the worst thing about the game from what I've been reading. And they're missing core gameplay elements from SOCOM, like some classic gameplay modes. I could be wrong, but I think they're missing like Breach and stuff, and there's alternative gameplay in there. And there's another thing, no lobbies. SOCOM games have always had lobbies where you can create a room and have your clan join and meet you there and kind of invade other clans' rooms, and there's tryout rooms and such like that. There's no more lobbies whatsoever. There's no more servers. You just basically group up and you just go in the random rooms. And I'm not sure, they didn't have this in the beta. I'm sure it's probably in the final game now, but the only thing you can do is sort of do it Halo style and I guess Call of Duty style, where you get in a group of players and you just migrate together. But lobbies have always been a staple of SOCOM. So.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Right. So Pete, so what you're saying is, if you were playing this game and you were online playing this game, and Jason Heine called you on the phone, would you pick it up or would you not? Because this game is, I want to know if it's too different.
Now I can't say Jason because I have not played it. But based on what I've heard, I would pick up the phone.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you for picking up the phone.
Hilarious.
Next game, the next day, he's back in Final Fantasy 11.
Never to hear from again.
Busy signal.
Yeah. Well, can I just chime in here and just get back to this PSN outage? Can I just say, on just my opinion, I think that this is complete utter bullshit. I think these people need to just stop it, because it fucks everything up for all the gamers. You know what I mean? Like, oh, yippee skippy, cool, you guys, you hacked in, awesome, here's a trophy. Seriously, go apply to your nearest government with those skills, because the government needs people like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's ridiculous. Like, go find something else to do. You could be making big money with that skill that you have to do this sort of thing. I mean, because here's the thing, Sony obviously is compromised. They would not shut it down completely for this long if they weren't compromised. They are seriously compromised, and I just think that's horrible. I think that sucks for not just the people who play video games or just play the PS3. I think it sucks for gamers as a whole because it really does affect all of us one way or another. I think it's bullshit.
The damage must be quite bad too, because in the businesses that I deal with, when they don't want to tell you something or keep it to themselves for a long period of time, it means nothing but bad news. So the fact that it's taken Sony now, it took this to the 6th day to finally come out and admit something horrible has happened. That's a really bad sign.
Yeah. I think you said it best earlier. I think they're bleeding out their ass right now.
It's a bad PR move for sure.
It's bad.
Well, see, the thing that I would thought is that I would have thought Sony would be like the bank online, that super secure, nothing could fuck with them, you know? They get millions of dollars for security. And it kind of scares me. It's like, wow, if they can be compromised, that's kind of a scary thing.
That's what
really
I was
is.
saying about gamers in general. That affects all of us. Who knows what they can do, you know?
Big Mike was actually talking to me about this a couple hours before, and he brought up a great point, and I'm not going to steal his words. Mike, throw that down.
I was just saying that the PlayStation Network, the way it's constructed, it's great because it's free, and I know everyone bitches that $4.75 a month on Xbox Live is outrageously expensive. But the problem with that is when you have an open network like that, it's not as secure. I know everyone complains that Xbox Live is a closed network and doesn't allow you to play MMOs from Steam and all that stuff. But the fact that it is closed, it's much more protected. And when things like this happen, it's just so much more accessible. So unfortunately, all the positives with the network being free also leads into the extreme negatives where you get these guys who have obviously way too much time on their hand and way too much talent to be doing what they're doing, can get online and actually take down a multinational corporation's network.
I got a message to whoever did this, actually. And I'm not throwing out hate. I see what you did. It's cool and all that. But seriously, come on. I mean, come on.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah. Straight up.
I'm with you. I mean, like hack like the Wall Street Journal's website and like have it so you throw in the Konami code for some unicorns or something. But like stuff like this. Like I was just thinking about this. You guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. But since the network's completely down, like say I was a person that had a PS3 and a subscription to Netflix, and my portal to Netflix was my PS3. I'm out of luck right now. I can't watch my Netflix.
Can't use it.
It's sad. Like I don't want to be throwing hate and all this, but it's a really dick move, and it's great to put on a. I don't know if it's some abstract way of creating a great CV, a resume, and be like, oh, you need someone with great computer skills. Well, look at me, I hacked this and that. It's like, good work, buddy. It's a great way to get yourself in jail.
Yeah, I hope they catch these fuckers too, for sure. I agree.
Seriously.
Well, the problem is they don't know if they stolen people's credit card information.
When you start messing with that personal data, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a really big problem. And that's why it's shut down. And that's why it's going to be shut down for however long it's going to take them to rebuild this. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, come on, people. Get out of really? Personal data? Really? Really?
In Sony's defense, you know what? Honestly, like this may sound weird, but they can take as much time as they need to fix this because, being like identity theft's a huge problem now. And you know what? I can do without PSN for a couple of weeks if they could fix this, and so I don't have to worry about suddenly purchasing a house in Omaha or something. When it's not me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lawsuit ready to happen if someone gets either account hacked or identity theft through the network, for sure, for Sony's part. So I think Sony's doing the right thing. It's kind of shitty though.
And thinking back into say 20 years ago, right? What was the thing everyone wanted to steal, right? You want to steal like what? I don't know, money, right? Or a car or something, right? Say, what do people want to steal now? They want to get on and they want to steal your personal data.
Yeah.
They want your passwords. They want your credit card information. They want your, I don't even know what else. You know what I mean? Addresses or...
addresses, yeah.
That's what they want now. It's just, it's screwed up.
So, yeah.
We're
not happy about this.
God damn it.
Not everybody is a good person. That's a sad reality. Of all the great things that technology has brought us, so come the bad apples. So hopefully they can stay ahead of the curve on this one.
Huh.
Well, I think we speak on behalf of everyone out there, and we hope that Sony fixes it. And take as much time as they need, really, because a couple weeks down to have it fixed correctly, fine by me.
Mm-hmm. On some other Sony news, guys, you guys hear officially, and this is no big surprise, but they're officially killing the Go.
So what you're saying, John, is the Go is not gonna
it's a no
go anymore.
Ain't
It's
gonna be
a
going.
no-go.
Is it a no-go?
It's a no-go. The no-go. No, so
John,
it's officially over. I mean, it's no surprise.
In
You're
North
also-
America, though? Or because I remember reading a while back that they were getting rid of it in Japan
I
and
think
Europe. But in North America, they're still going to support it, supposedly.
I don't know. I heard. I don't know. Maybe you heard something different. I heard they're just going to cut production altogether on it, and goodbye.
John, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that the PSP Go was actually released. I've never actually seen one in the wild.
Really?
I'm dead serious.
hilarious.
I was so hyped when I first heard about it because I was thinking of like multimedia. Like I was a couple of years ahead. Like now
Sure.
I'm better placed with like the BlackBerry Playbook or Sony announced PlayStation certified tablets that they're bringing out at the end of the year. I was thinking more of that kind of stuff because I like to watch shows and whatever on the go, right? But I don't know. It was nothing but disappointment, and I just couldn't, like all this talk about digital distribution and it's the way of the future. I just looked at that thing going, you know what, man, this sucks. It really does.
It's too soon. I think people aren't ready. I mean, it's obviously a part of gaming because we have digital downloads now, but to completely replace all the games to digital download, I think is a big. I mean, it's too early for that.
I got a great insider story about the PSP Go, and I won't say his name for for safety reasons, but one of the distributors I deal with in New York in my job, I asked him as a joke one time about the PSP Go, and this was only a year ago. And he's one of the Sony's distributors for the East Coast, and I said to him, I said, yeah, so what about that PSP Go? His exact response was, oh, that fucking nightmare. And I said, well, you still got a few kicking around? He goes, I don't know. You want access to my warehouse so you can count them? There's pallets of the bloody things.
Wow.
So obviously it was a financial disaster for Sony.
Well, isn't Sony releasing like an iPad now? Like,
yeah, that's the PlayStation certified tablet. There's two models. There's a 1 screen and a 2 screen, and they're very cleverly titled right now S1 and S2. And the vibe in the industry is they're going to give like Apple a run for their money, but it seems that everyone's after a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
I think once the Go drops down to, I know I've been saying this for a long time, but once it drops down to $100, I might pick one up for the fact that it's like free storage instead of having to go out and buy some memory cards for my PSP for all the PSN games I download for it. Just use the internal 16 gigs and download some Final Fantasy 9 on there, some PS Classics and such. I would use it for that, sort of just as like a little portable PSN thing to use. But
Pete, good on you for turning lemons into lemonade on that one. I'm impressed.
No doubt. So, what do you guys want to do? To answer some questions?
Sure.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it.
All right there, my lovely ladies. Nemsky here for Scotland with a packet of tomato ketchup crisps and a question for yous. What is your favourite method of storing your game saves? Do you prefer the classic storing them straight onto the game, like a cartridge or DS game, etc.? Perhaps you prefer memory cards, small, portable, can be played in any of the consoles? Or perhaps you prefer the newer gen hard drives? Other than their big, I can't say any positives, but maybe you can. I'm absolutely adoring your podcast, and you better keep it up, or else I'm going to come around and individually make each and every one of you my puppets. Tatty bye-bye. I'm loving the show.
I'm not becoming nobody's puppet.
He just called you a lady, Johnny.
I'll pay for that guy's plane ticket to see what he can do.
That's awesome. But he actually raises a good point. What do you guys think? For me personally, I love memory cards. I from the old PlayStation days and all that. I have stacks of them and VMUs, and I like that because I know where all my old game saves are. I can like store them away in a box. What I get nervous about is hard drives on a 360. What if my 360 dies? I've lost all my saves. I know you can get. I got a memory stick for it. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I like it on memory cards. What do you guys think, Pete? What do you take it away?
I really like having my game saves on the individual cartridge so that I don't have to be bothered with having to find the specific memory card with the specific game save on there and all that stuff. But one thing I'm sure you guys probably like doing this too, but after you have a memory card that's kind of just sat around for a couple of years, it's fun sometimes to just go in and look at your old game saves, like look at the date
totally.
that
Do
you
it all the
last
time,
played it.
yeah.
Look at the amount of hours you put into it. Like I did that with my old PS1 memory cards, and I was like, wow, I played this game for that many hours, and the last time I played it was that date. Like PS2 especially, it's like, holy crap, I haven't played this game for 10 years. Wow.
I know, isn't that
just
crazy?
yesterday.
Yeah, I did that about a month ago. It was fantastic seeing the old Metal Gear saves from Metal Gear Solid 2 on the PS2. That's crazy.
What about you, Jason?
Well, yeah. Well, I'm thinking. I like it to be just convenient and quick, right? So I like just having it all on the hard drive. Just I don't have to screw with anything. I load the game up. The save's already in there. I don't have to see it. I don't have to do anything. It just loads up. Problem is that hard drives are hard drives until they start going to like solid state drives, and the death rate goes way down. I guess I'll have to pick memory card. I've got just a ton of them as well. I mean, Pete, you pretty much nailed it. I like to go back and look at all the games. I actually did that recently with some PS2 stuff. And as you guys already said, it's crazy to see how long I've been playing some of these games. And the original Gran Turismo was on my PS1, and Jumping Flash. I have a whole bunch of save states on there. It's just crazy, but I don't know. I like the convenience of hard drives, but I like the security of the actual memory card. So what about you, John?
There's a fourth way that we haven't brought up actually too, in the clouds.
I thought you were going to say rectally or something like that.
No.
I like my game saves anally, thank you.
Let's find this one.
Like systems like OnLive, you can save it in the clouds, like, and through a server that's not necessarily your hard drive. But I think I agree with Johnny.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on, John, before you get into that. That's actually another part of the PSN. Recently, they introduced cloud saving for game saves. So people that were playing single-player games that didn't want to store their game on their hard drive were storing it in the cloud. They can't play their game right now.
There you go.
Whoops.
Can you?
Even though it's single player.
I wonder, can you go to different PlayStation then and continue your game on a different PlayStation then, huh?
Well, I'm saying it's in the cloud, and the cloud is handled through the PSN.
Right. Okay.
So no matter where you go right now, they can't even play their single player saves.
That's true. That's
go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So anyway, that's the fourth one. But I agree with Johnny. You mentioned the hard drive, and Jason, you alluded to it as well. It just crashes. Hard drives crash, and that's a problem. I've had issues with memory cards as well, especially third-party memory cards.
Oh yeah.
Not reading after a while. I remember I was, like 40 hours into Final Fantasy VII or some shit, and it just all of a sudden stopped reading it. It was sucked. So I'm going to go the old school retro way. I'm going to say I like saving my games on the cartridges because it's convenient. It's there, and especially if you buy used games, every once in a while get a save game. You can continue their game. Yeah.
Wait, I've never done that before. Like,
Either I've never.
I'm just joking. I never continue the game. But it's always
if I get a used game, I always delete it. I don't even
it's always
look at
interesting
it.
to see what they have.
Sometimes they leave it though. You get to check it out.
Yeah, you can check it out. I never can really continue, but I check it out.
I think the best way to save your game, to always make sure you get it back, is to write down the codes on the back of the manual in the notes section.
Yeah, the codes. Yeah,
I guess that's a NES exclusive, right?
That's pretty old there, Jason.
Like
Some TurboGrafx games too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What do you guys, Mike, Terence? What do you guys think about that?
I agree with you guys. Like, I love hard drives convenience, but they are ticking time bombs. Cartridges, unfortunately, the batteries don't last forever.
True.
And cloud, forget it. I refuse to have my data just magically out there somewhere. Hoping that the company's responsible for it's going to keep it. So I'll have to be the cop out here and go for memory cards. Just bigger ones though. You guys remember the Dreamcast cards would fill up after like a couple of game saves, and you'd have like a pile of VMUs. You'd flip through them all, finding where's my Resident Evil save. It was just it was crazy.
It was funny. I did that. I was trying to do the Shenmue video, and I wanted to go back and find some of my old saves. And I was going through, and I had like fucking 10 VMUs. And the reason why I had 10 VMUs is because I had 10 Phantasy Star Online characters. And so funny.
That's right. It's one.
So each one would take up basically an entire. Each character would take up an entire VMU, and then there'd be a couple extra saves. So I was going through all these things. I'm like, "Where's my Shenmue 2 saved at? I know I have it." It was a big pain in the ass, but very, very funny trying to find that stuff. Yeah, it didn't save very much on there, did it? Unless you bought a third party. But
I ended up started color coordinating. Like the blue ones would be RPGs, the red ones are all the survival horror. And the
totally.
Fighting games,
That's a good idea.
Totally. Yeah, that's funny you say that. Color coding VMUs, that's awesome.
So for me, I've been disappointed. I haven't tried the cloud format, but every other format, save codes, has failed me at some point. And they're like epic disasters. And when you actually play, you know, like old school cartridges have a battery for, you know, the save functionality. When that battery goes, it's a sad moment. You know, like seeing a game save from when you were a kid disappear is that's a rough moment, man. But so with hard drives fail rate, and then I've had more than my fair share of memory cards go down, and then, you know, that one instance with the battery. I'm all about just clearing it in one go, man. You like last battle on Genesis, I had pneumonia and cleared that thing in one shot. Hardcore.
Oh, I'm a last battle expert myself from the olden days. I love that game. Fantastic. Did you ever play the Japanese game version of that?
Yes, I did, and I love the explosions.
Explosions of blood. It was excellent stuff.
It's kind of funny if you look at Last Battle, like the region that is familiar, I guess, with the European and North American regions, how characters flew off screen half the time. Like looking back, like after playing it, I was always reminded of Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, because whenever you hit someone, you know, they would just fly off the screen. Right?
Yeah. That's funny. That's so funny. Yeah, that was the very first game I got on my Genesis, and I was just blown away by it. The parallax scrolling, that first level, was unbelievable.
Oh, and the music too. Oh my god.
Well, it's very rare that I talk to anybody these days that has played Last Battle. Not many. You know, everyone's like, "What's Last Battle?" You know, it's not too often. So,
Johnny, were you able to clear that game?
Absolutely, because when you're a kid and you get Last Battle for Christmas with your Genesis, what else are you gonna do? Like seriously. What else are you going to do? Like, all I did was play Last Battle every day.
I remember the only reason I was able to clear it is I literally had pneumonia. So I was in this like this feverish state where I didn't know if I was awake or sleeping or dead or alive. I just kept on moving, you know, and it was one of those games that you remember, especially with the maze levels. So it wasn't just move to the right. You had to move in both directions, and you had to hit those buttons a lot. So I don't know how I got through it, but I felt pretty triumphant after. That was probably like one of my biggest game accomplishments. Like, I'm on my deathbed and yet I'm clearing this game.
Last Battle was a very interesting game. It was, for anybody out there who doesn't know, it was Hakuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star, you know, or Hakuto Muso, as it's out on the 360 and PS3 now. But yeah, based on a manga series, then went to an anime series. But yeah, it was a very good arcadey side view beat 'em up. But it also had, like, how can I say? I'd say adventure elements that you talk to characters. You could choose your own direction the way you went through the level. It's kind of like chess. You picked where you wanted to go, and then it kind of went into like a little Street Fighter-esque battles. You go one-on-one with the bosses. So, yeah, anybody's interested, go check out videos of Last Battle. It's I think it still holds up pretty good today. What would you say about that? You think so? I think so. Definitely.
It does, and it's fun, but it is hard. Like, remember how games of our childhood, like, you know, especially on the 16-bit game consoles, the 8-bit game consoles, those games were hard, and this one exemplifies it. Like, a lot of times, if I didn't choose the correct path, because as Johnny was saying, you have options to go. If you don't choose the right path right off the beginning, there's no way you're beating that first boss. And then
but you got to level up, right? So you got to level up your character, and if your character's not leveled up enough, well, you rip off your shirt, right? That's when you knew you're leveled up. You rip off your shirt, and because you could go to a boss battle before that and get your ass whipped, but then again, you can go back actually and go back to some of the old town levels and re-level up. But yeah, you can screw yourself a little bit for sure.
I find the funniest thing. It's funny that we're talking about Last Battle here, but I find the funniest thing based that it's the fact that it's based off of Fist of the North Star is that since the version that we originally played was censored, the whole point of, you know, the main character in that game was muted, because he would be able to do something to his opponent, and the guy thinks nothing happened. It's like, you're already dead, and then he explodes. So I love the Mega Drive version where you just hit the guy and he just explodes into just a beautiful crescendo of blood.
That's a weird thing when you first buy the boss. Sorry, we're going on about Last Battle, but it's not very often.
I'm watching gameplay of it right now.
Podcast. So. Yeah. It'd be very rare to hear anybody talk about Last Battle. But I always thought it was trippy as a kid when you would hit the boss character the final time, and all these bubbles would blow up on him, and he just explode in this like kind of yellow blast or whatever. And I was like, oh, damn, okay. And I actually didn't know it was censored for years. I think I only found out about it 5 years ago. that there, it was actually, there was blood in it. I was fascinated because I was such a huge fan. I'd been back in the old days, and I'm like, man, I have to get that game. Actually, I have to get that game. So
the gameplay that I'm watching here, the guy that's actually playing, and the battles where it's not a boss battle, all he does is just walk to the right. He doesn't even fight any enemies. He just lets them trail behind him. I don't know how you guys approach the gameplay, but yeah.
How that worked out, Pete, is he's going through a level backwards. That's why. So it's kind of funny that, and I guess in the limitations of the programming, where you're going to get everybody coming at you from one direction. So he's backtracking, and they're just chasing him. That's awesome.
Oh, really?
That's cool. That's really cool. But yeah, the cool bit is the maze levels are really good. I always liked those. I always thought those were pretty cool as a kid. We can punch the knives out of the air, and I think it was jumping over barrels, or you jumped over something.
Boxes. It's like you're narrating the gameplay that I'm watching right now. This axe is flying at him. He was just deflecting knives.
Well, you have to remember the time that came out. That was like the arcade experience at home, and to have that game, to play that game. Now, it was not an arcade game. I'm not saying that, but it was just having the arcade look at home in an original game created for the Genesis was huge. So yeah, you were going to spend a lot of time. You were going to get into feverish states, and you were going to beat this game because it was incredible at the time, for sure. So let's move on to another question. Are we good to go?
Hi, my name's Billy. I have a question about Last Battle.
Well, I'm glad you talked to us, Billy.
The shit just got answered, so I'll just shut up.
Thanks for your patronage, Billy.
Oh, right there.
Oh, shit. We already saw that one.
That's a good one.
Hey guys, LMG Gaming here, or as you may know me, Latchlin. Okay, so I just wanted to ask you a quick question. When you're playing an RPG, do you name the main character that you play as after yourself, or do you name it after someone completely different? Personally, I'm very anal about this kind of thing. I always name the main character after myself. Then I name, like, my second Pokemon or party member after someone I know in real life. And then I name the others after famous video game or movie characters. For example, my Dragon Quest IX party consists of my minstrel, Locke, my mage, Timmy, someone I know in real life, my martial artist, Doc, named after Doc Lewis from the Punch-Out series, and my priest, Chung-Li. No explanation needed. So anyway, guys, thanks for taking my question. See you later.
Hey, different strokes for different folks of those names.
That's the most epic question ever.
That's our friend Latchin from Australia.
The one thing I want to say about Latchin is he's very anal.
Yes, he is quite anal.
Quite anal about his naming. But he actually, that's actually a really good question, and it's a funny one. And I can't wait to hear all you guys' thing. I'll blast mine out. Every Zelda game, every RPG, I always, since talking my age, in 1988, 89, I've always called every character Hawken. And for anybody out there who knows, I kind of named it after Hawk the Slayer. If anybody's ever seen that amazing old movie. Meanwhile, like a tumbleweed's going through right now. But that's okay. It's a really good old medieval sci-fi fantasy-esque movie. And so Hawken for me, for any medieval RPG I always play. What about you, Jason?
I keep them all the same.
Is it Jason?
Yep.
Jason, the
one thing I really want to say about your naming, you're very anal about your namings.
Well, we were talking about tossing salads earlier, so
yeah.
Yeah, I missed out on that part.
Yeah. Well, when I eat anything off that ass or out that ass or something, something with ass.
Something with the ass.
Something with
John,
we blocked it from our memories.
Yeah, exactly.
John, how anal are you?
Really anal, actually. No, I just name them after, kind of like watching. I just actually name them just myself and then people I know. I don't really name them after gaming characters. It's kind of people I know in real life. So, like, old RPGs will have ex-girlfriend names in it that I have, that I've been playing.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Ex-girlfriend, what, do you want to kill these people or something? Like,
no, I don't know. Like, I think Final Fantasy 2, I think I named one of them Mary, which was a girl I was dating at the time I was playing.
Oh, at the time. Okay, I see.
At the time, yeah. At the time, so.
So you call like the main boss character an ex-girlfriend or something?
No. Absolutely not. So, Pete, how are you?
When it comes to story-based RPGs or story-based games in general, I will not change the names. Like if if I open that manual and those characters have names, those are the names that I'm going to use in the game. But if it's a game like the Etrian Odyssey series or a game where the main character does not have a name, I will name it Pete. And if the other characters also do not have names, I will normally take video game themed character names and plug them in there. So normally my teammates end up getting called Eco and Klonoa, and once in a while Sonic in there if it makes sense. So
you know what else you did, Pete?
What?
You also named a sheep after me.
Yes, I did in Harvest Moon 64.
And I was really flattered by that. Can you name more animals or Rift characters after me or something?
I'll try. I mean, your sheep was kind of bad luck, though. Out of all the sheep I had,
you're pissing me off, Pete.
The hiney sheep was the only one that got sick.
Well, maybe you wouldn't leave him out in the fucking cold in the rain.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of messed up.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think is that's pretty anal. That's really very anal. So, speaking of anal, Terrence, Mike?
That's a nice segue.
I'm just kidding.
I was just really worried that the words anal and sheep were in the same sentence there for a second. Right?
The All Gen Gamers podcast.
To me, it goes together. Yeah, maybe I'm crazy. What do you guys call your characters in video games?
For me, I'm like Pete. If they're already pre-named, I keep them the same, except for Final Fantasy 2 or 4 on the Super Nintendo. No offense to anyone out there named Cecil, but to me that name just didn't sound very heroic, so I had to change it to a much more fitting Mike. Is much more of a heroic name. And then games you can name characters, I do the same kind of as John. Like my female shepherd in Mass Effect is named after an ex-girlfriend of mine. Because it just seemed appropriate that someone was going to go through that hell. It has to be an ex-girlfriend's name.
Nice. For me, it's kind of funny. Big Mike mentioned Final Fantasy 2, or I guess we should call it Final Fantasy 4, right? On Super Nintendo. Main character was myself, and then I would situate the female characters as girls I had a crush on in high school. That's the first time I've ever admitted that to anyone. And then any male characters would be my friends. Then, since then, like Pete and Big Mike, taking the approach of if the name's there, keep it because it gets confusing. But after this question, I think my main character is going to be named Rectal, and then there'll be like Sphincter and Bum Bum and Brown Eye. I'm gonna next roleplay game I play where they give me an option to choose characters. I am gonna be a thesaurus on the anal names.
Are they gonna cast a bowel movement? Is that one of the moves?
Bowel movement. Yeah.
So Latchin, I want you to know, we all want you to know, you're not the only anal guy out there.
Oh.
For naming names in video games. Good.
Hey guys, this is Robot Bling. I'm a longtime fan of the podcast as well as some of the shows that you guys put together. This is a question for Johnny and Pete, since you guys are always talking about eBay. I'm just wondering if you guys have had any bad experiences with eBay in regards to getting games. For example, I've bought some Saturn games that unfortunately were a bit scratched and they didn't play past a certain point, which prevented me from being able to finish them. And I've also encountered some DS games that have been pirated. So any suggestions about how to avoid those kinds of problems would be appreciated, and any stories as well. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Wow, that's it. That's a good question for everybody.
Yeah, I think we can all answer that.
Pete, have you had any bad problems on eBay?
Oh, probably the one that comes to mind the most is when I ordered a ton of 3DO games when I, was really getting into 3DO collecting, and there was a great auction up with a really nice lot of box complete games, and needless to say, it wasn't that cheap, but I gave the guy specific instructions. I'm like, listen, when you ship this out, I know how 3DO boxes are. You cannot stack them on top of one another. They're going to crush each other because they're very flimsy and weak. I told him a very specific way to pack it, pack them side by side, whatnot. No, I get the freaking box. There's barely any packing in there. I open it up. Everything is all freaking smashed and smushed. I was able to salvage some of the boxes, kind of put them back into the correct shape, but there were some that kind of suffered some denting on the spines, and just the description of the auction was that the games were all in good condition, but meanwhile my Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo box was ripped and shit like that. So
I remember you saying that. I remember that. Yeah.
So I took a whole bunch of pictures because I was kind of pissed. took a whole bunch of pictures because it could have been avoided too. Because in the picture, you know, they look pretty good condition. But I took a whole bunch of pictures, opened up a claim, and I sent in the pictures, and eBay basically sided with me. And I just had the guy give me like a partial refund because I didn't want to send the games back. I wanted to keep them. But that was just one instance that still makes me quite mad. Another one is I've never been tricked before when it comes to a pirated game. But I did actually get one, I guess, it wasn't my fault, but I did buy a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for Game Boy Advance that was complete, and I can't remember exactly if it was a buy it now, because I'm usually really careful with this stuff because I know they're out there. But I did buy it, and it came with the box and the manual, and oh my, I'll have to do a video on it sometime. It is horrendous how badly put together it is. Like, they take the story of Sonic Heroes and like slap it onto the manual for Sonic Advance 3, and it's like stapled together.
Oh man.
The box is like laminated, and the cartridge is just, it's, you know, I'll do a video on that and show people, you know, how to avoid that shit on eBay. Because it's, if you're going to buy Game Boy Advance games, and not just Game Boy Advance, they're out there for other systems like DS, but Game Boy Advance in particular, there's a lot of bootleg games out there that give you fake boxes, fake manuals. And being the lazy person I am, it wasn't that expensive, that's why I bought it. But I didn't open up a claim because I was like, it's just totally not worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I'm sure there's others, but that's just what comes to mind. What about you, Johnny?
For the most part, pretty good. I don't think I've ever had. I actually ordered a copy of what was it, Dragon Quest IV on the PS1, and it arrived I think about 3 weeks ago, and it was cracked, it was smacked. Yeah, so it basically had been crushed in the mail, but that kind of stuff, it happens. That's very rare for me. I'm just trying to think of anything else. Yeah, sometimes people claim the games are a lot better than they are, and then you get them and they're not as mint as you were hoping them. That really pisses me off. But I'm very, very careful. What about you guys, Mike? What do you guys think? If you order something like from Snatcher and it comes and it's like looks like crap, and you're like, fuck.
Well, thankfully the Snatcher games have all been mint, but I do have a couple of horror stories in my game room. In our game room tour video, I show off that I have 2 Lucian's Quests for the 3DO, but I never really explain why that is, because I have a similar story to Pete. I ordered one, and anyone who knows Lucian's Quest on the 3DO, it's not the rarest, but one of the rarest games on the system. And instead of packing it in a box, like I asked the guy, he packed it in a cheap paper envelope, and the thing was just absolutely squashed when it showed up. And another horror story was buying a Saturn game. And I keep a lot of, like I said, I'm a bit of a mental case. So I got a whole pile of spare cases lying around that I can replace cases with. So I was replacing a Saturn case, and I took out the back, you know, the plastic tray, and underneath was a pile of mold growing on the inlay. It was just disgusting.
Wow. Huh.
And you know, like Sandra had bought some TurboGrafx games that the guy said were in mint, and when you open them up, like the instruction booklet falls apart in your hands and stuff like that. But those two, especially the mold one, because that one was just instant. You know, throw it out and desanitize the entire condo.
And for me,
when
it
had throw up in there or anything, you know,
like in that controller you were talking about, Pete, last year.
Yeah, that he still plays with.
He licks that controller at night. I know
So
he does.
gross.
If you guys haven't used it yet and you're searching, for a picture for your website for this episode, just throw that picture on there. Get some good detail on that bark, and let's rock it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, for me, when it comes to eBay, 2 words: power seller.
Totally.
I've heard all the horror stories, and the only time I bought something that was a fake, I intentionally bought it. Shenmue. Sega got someone to release a movie that was essentially the culmination of cutscenes from the first Shenmue game. Now, Part 2 didn't receive the same treatment. Maybe it has, but at the time that I was searching for it, it had not. So I bought something that I knew that was fake, and I didn't care. And you know what? It was pretty good. I didn't pay much for it. I got it, and I couldn't care that it was fake. But when it comes to games and anything you put money down on, especially rare games like all the hoopla around Earthbound, man, you gotta make sure that it's a power seller, and you gotta read the instructions or the description carefully. I mean, I looked at one thing on Earthbound. It was the box and walkthrough, and the guy wanted $250 for it. But to this guy's credit, he must have said 2 or 3 times in the description that the cartridge was not included. So it's just take your time and be aware and be smart, because it is your money, and if you're frivolous with it, you're going to get burned sooner or later. So just breathe and read before you click buy now.
Yeah. PowerCell is a great one. I always do those from Japan. Big fan of that.
And one other thing is, if it can be helped, being able to speak the same language as the seller is always good, because if there's a language barrier, that turns into trouble quick.
No shit, eh? Absolutely. Jason? Anything? Gamester?
Yeah. No, well, you guys pretty much nailed it. But when it comes down to eBay, you have to just be patient, and you have to be thorough, and you just have to read the listing. Reading a listing and researching something on eBay is like the same as like meeting a person. It really is, like, or reading a situation, because if the listing is really vague or worded funny and the pictures are a little hokey, if there's anywhere you kind of feel like there's something fishy going on there, it typically is. I've been on eBay I've been actively on eBay for 11 years now, and I'll tell you that I have never had any really bad experience happen other than getting items that are either damaged in the mail, that's beyond anyone's control, or getting items that are, like Johnny, you said, not exactly what I would call mint. What people's interpretations of mint are completely different. And that's kind of what I've learned. What somebody calls mint is not what I would call mint. I'm really picky. As all of us here, we're really picky. Probably the most pickiest of anybody. But the thing is what really bothers me is when something shows up and that's not documented. Big thing here is when they say that it's from a non-smoking home and it comes smelling like smoke.
Oh,
that's something that I don't tolerate. I don't tolerate it. I think I talked about this earlier, but recently, this last year, I ordered a complete long box copy of Loaded for the PS1. Great game, yeah. And it came with about an inch of freaking soot on it. It was horrible. I could actually run my finger down it and pull my finger up, and it was black. That's how bad it was. I didn't even want to touch it. I mean, I wrote him back this long email about how unbelievable it is, and I was so mad. It did no good. It did absolutely no good. He didn't respond to me. He didn't do anything. It's point. Yeah, but it's pointless. I mean, what's the best that's going to happen? You know what I mean? So anyway, I ended up selling the game, fully documented, saying this thing is a pile of ashtray. This is. So that's what you're getting. And I sold it, and I went and I bought another copy that was in better condition. That's just the way it is. But that's how it is with all of my stuff. That's the only time really I ever have issues is when it's a fucking ashtray, and that drives me nuts.
Yeah. Can I give you guys a little tip on getting rid of that smell? Because I've had the same problem. Not as bad as you, where it was like a layer of soot. But if you just take like a cardboard box, dump in a bunch of dryer sheets with the game, and close the box for quite literally like a couple of months, and then that usually works pretty well. Like I was actually Terence and I had some Genesis games donated to the show, and from a quite heavy smoker, and I did that, and 2 months later they all came out they smelled like Downy, but it's a lot better than cigarette smoke.
Smell that.
I was going to recommend urine, but it kind of
it's like a whiz on the
kitty
game.
litter works as well. Kitty litter.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, sorry, John, did you have any?
Yeah, well, I think you guys pretty much nailed it. I've been a member of eBay since like '98, so I've been actually using it. I've fortunately been pretty blessed with not getting anything bad. I think I've ordered some Star Wars stuff that's come in the mail, like figures have been crushed. I think that's more to like the fault of the mail post office. Ordering stuff from overseas, you gotta be careful with too, because of shipping and I think power seller is probably the best advice. Feedback, make sure you read their feedback, read the positive, read the negative comments, and you can look at the past sellings and stuff like that. So you just kind of be trustworthy about that. So that's all I want to say.
I want to stay on the moment of eBay for a second. Remember, God damn it, I'm so mad about this. Remember I was bidding on Shenmue, that copy that was signed by Yu Suzuki?
Yes.
Oh, the one that only went for like 150, was it?
No, it went for 250, I think. It went for 200. And I was right there at $300 in, and I'm like, no, I won't do it. What the fuck was I thinking? What, am I, an idiot? Seriously, because one just sold on goddamn eBay from Sega of America with Yu Suzuki signing in again, the same damn copy, went for $898 sold.
Oh, wow.
That's a charity auction. Everything from those Sega charity auctions went for like phenomenal amounts of money.
Yeah, but I think people are becoming more conscious of the signed Shenmue stuff, and I'm pissed off about
Because
it.
of the podcast, people listen to the podcast and want to.
No, people stop listening to the podcast. God damn it! Yeah, that's just so upsetting. I was like, God, I should have. If I could go back in time, I'd punch myself in the face.
I'm telling you though, my signed copy of Shadow of the Colossus, I think that is going to be worth quite a.
Oh, I think so. I think so.
Quite a penny down the road, that's for sure. I've never seen anything signed from.
That's crazy cool.
Ueda, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really big on the signatures now. I'm huge on that. If I can get games that,
it's a dangerous thing to start collecting, though, I'll tell you.
I have a Star Wars Laserdisc signed by Billy D. Williams. Does that count? I don't know.
Cool. Billy D. Williams.
That's awesome.
I'm actually getting a text message from a friend right now who wants me to hop onto my PlayStation 3 to play some games with him. I guess I'm the one that has to break the news to him. I'm texting him back right now. Newsflash, homie. The PSN is down.
No, just tell him to sit there and wait for you. That's all.
Yeah, so log on. I'll see you in a minute.
I will be there in about 10 minutes. He'll be like, I can't get it to work. No, because then Jason has to troubleshoot with him.
That's funny.
Tell him he has to buy a new router.
Call your ISP. Comcast has something to do with this.
Yeah.
Damn it! Now on eBay looking at things. I got to get off this.
Stop it, Johnny. Stop
I'm
it.
out. I know it's eBay is like, oh, delicious fruit. My God, there's so much fucking.
I've been pretty good with it lately. I haven't honestly been on there too much.
You guys want to spend a crazy amount of money on stuff you might not find on eBay? Go to that Easy Japan auctions. That's where I got the Snatcher, and that's
yeah,
bad idea.
You've been let's say we won't say anything, but me and Pete were on there a while ago, and I dropped $350 like it was water. Easy.
Yeah.
That wasn't even with shipping.
Well, yeah, because you get when they send you like the bill, and there's like all the different charges and the commissions.
Oh, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, your $30 game turns into a $70 game real quick.
It's crazy, but yeah, and it's funny actually because Pete finally sent the package out over here, and I won't say the stuff that I ordered, but it finally came. When did I order that? Like September? It's like how much? September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. 8 months later, I get the stuff. It's
Apparently, they walked it over.
No doubt. But anyways, to the winners of the contest, I actually got the stuff from Pete. So we're gonna. Me and Rob have done the signing, so we're gonna send all that stuff out over to Jason and to John, so they can sign it and send it finally to the winner. So apologize,
Johnny. If I'm end up meeting up with you next week, just hold on to it.
Yeah, you know what? Perfect. Yeah, that's great, John.
Can you just bring it back with you?
Yeah, I'll just bring it back with me.
All right.
As long as customers doesn't give me shit about it. What's this whale doing?
What's this motherfucking whale doing?
Just
What's it with all
just play the whale sound
time,
clip.
though, dude, I don't know. I think it was 2 times ago. I was going up to Canada, and the customs agents were like, "Give me the 5th degree, dude."
Over what?
I don't know. Just both like, "What are you going up from?" Like, I'm seeing a friend. What's his name? Where does he live? What's going on? Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, damn.
Yeah. There's all that cocaine that was around your nose.
It could have been like the weed I had in the back.
Yeah, your trunk completely fucking laced with coke.
Smoke cloud, hovering above my head. I need
You're
some
like,
of that
no
BC.
way, man.
I need some of that BC weed, bro.
Well, you were traveling up there with Willie Nelson, so I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey, so John, are you staying up here? Are you actually staying in Vancouver for those 4 days?
No.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
No,
Well,
I'm just gonna. No. Why would I want to do that? No, I'm actually going to be in Seattle for work, so I figured I'd just roll up.
I thought we were gonna have sex.
Yeah,
like
for work. That's what he
not
calls
like
it.
last time. Remember last time? That's such a rush. I spend my time. Take my time a little bit.
But this time I am not drinking because last time I don't know if I said. So I'm coming back from across the border, and it's like I don't know.
Should you be saying that story?
What?
Should you even be saying that story?
I got pulled over, but I was fine. I wasn't like I didn't blow up or anything, but it was nerve wracking. You're like, oh shit. So anyway,
Fucking drunk ass son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, he comes hangs out with me and Rob, and he's just pounding the beer back.
Oh, whatever, dude.
He's like, seriously. Like,
I
me and
had 2
Rob
beers.
are drinking our coffees, and he's like doing fucking Jager bombs.
Fuck you.
He's going crazy. And he's just rambling, going, one day I'm going to meet Will Wheaton. I'm telling you, he's going crazy.
Quill Wheaton.
He's fucking wheating his ass.
Whatever.
Wheatoned.
Oh, man.
No, it was good. Nothing happened. I didn't blow over or anything like that, but you don't want to mess around. So I'm not drinking when I'm up there, bro. But
See, okay, so I just got to say this, and I get to do this live on the podcast, is that, so we're just having this little funny conversation. All of a sudden, I get a message from Pete here. Pete is like a drug pusher on eBay. Nobody knows. He's really quiet about it. We're talking there, and all of a sudden, bleep, I get this message, and I click on it, and it's Dreamcast. Shenmue figure doll, not for sale, free shipping, only $124 on eBay.
He's a hustler, dude. He is a hustler.
It's like he's almost making commission on the side. Oh, and he just sends me another one.
And at this time it says, shut the fuck up.
This one's a Sega 1998 Shenmue Rare mouse pad with Ryo on it. Only, and it can be yours for $24. Only $24.
hilarious.
I'll buy it at a high price.
I know. No more, Pete. Enough. I'm serious. I'm gonna go on eBay and just find as much Sonic shit and just shovel it your way. Just drive you absolutely mental. Find the most expensive. I would say Sonic the Hedgehog, most expensive.
I probably have it already.
Yeah, probably has it already. Yeah.
Hey guys,
glasses.
I was wondering if we can do something, guys. My eyes were scrolling over the Wikipedia page for Police Knots, and I put my foot in my mouth. So I was wondering if I can make an addendum to what I said before. So Police Knots was originally released on the PC 9821 computer in 1994, before the 3DO. Actually, I did not know that. And then a cool thing about the translation that we were talking about is it was released on August 24th, 2009, and it was in honor of the 46th birthday of the game's creator, Hideo Kojima.
Wait, this is Wikipedia. We can just go in and change the dates to what we said originally. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
No one will know.
We'll just re-edit the podcast in a different order. Nobody will have a clue what's going on.
Hey guys, I was listening to the Halloween episode, and it was the one that I screamed at my PSP. That's how I listen to you guys when I'm on the go. I was screaming at my PSP for various reasons, like how no one played really got into the Silent Hill games. Or Johnny, I'm sure someone threw you love on the forums. You're talking about a game where you were in a mansion and you were setting traps, and I was screaming at my PSP. Yes! Tecmo's Deception.
Yeah, I know. So many people actually somebody else said another game, and I was like, oh, that's kind of maybe what it was, and it was Deception, I think. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, it's funny that none of us could figure that one out at the time. I remember that. And afterwards, everybody was screaming. I know. I think there's a lot of people screaming at us at that time.
Yeah, in your defense, it was okay at the time, but thinking back in it, man, that was there were some better titles that year.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
There definitely was, but it's one of those, I don't know, unique titles. I like saying that. Maybe a unique title for sure.
Well, you were the bad guy, right? Which was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you're trying to kill the main character, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah. Oldie but a goodie.
I think it was. I think you can look at it as like a Scooby-Doo sim, where you were the enemy. Like you were the one wearing the mask, and you're gonna take care of those rascally
kids.
Run kids. And I would have got away for it too.
That's awesome.
One story I want to share with you guys is I'm going to be getting up in 5 hours and 16 minutes to work a 13.5-hour day.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I work for the TTC, and I'm a wheel-trans operator. So I basically drive a smaller bus, and I service customers who are elderly or disabled.
Okay.
It's awesome. I would literally do this job for free. It's like I actually feel I make a difference.
That's awesome, man. Good for you.
It's too bad. Yeah, not much sleep tonight though, and a big long ass day, 13 hours. Jesus.
I've been looking forward to this we both have been looking forward to this for a while. And don't worry, like there are substances that are quite legal that will get me going through the day.
So we're finally going to do a question from the forums here, and this is from Filipino Man. He asks, hey, just want to ask, how often do you skip cutscenes of video games because some are really long, like Metal Gear. Some are uninteresting, and sometimes you just don't care about the story. So myself, it's like I have to almost resist, even if the story is terrible. Like I feel like I'm missing out on an element of the game if I skip the cutscenes, even if they're terrible. If it's an RPG, I have to watch them. The only time I make an exception is if it's like, say, I'm playing Samurai Warriors Chronicles on the 3DS, and I do not understand what the hell is going on in that story for the most part, and it's just not really that interesting to me, I guess you can say. So if I have the opportunity, I will kind of fast forward or skip through the text when I can, just to get to the meat of the gameplay. But I very, very rarely ever do that with games. What about you, Johnny?
I didn't skip anything in Xenosaga, so I think that says a lot. I actually watched all of that stuff. I liked it, but I kind of found in the last couple of years, maybe I've become desensitized to cinemas. I used to, as a younger guy, I used to love cinemas. I used to think they're the greatest thing. You know, when I'd hear the 20 hours of cinemas in a game, I'd be like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Not anymore. I think it's because of limited time on things, and I find I skip them a lot more now. Especially if it's a game that I'm buying because I want it, like an RPG for the storyline, and I want to hear the storyline, so yeah, then I'll watch it. But if it's just an action game, I don't give a fuck. I just want to go blow shit up. I don't want a long convoluted. But then again, it depends on the game. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Jason, what about you?
Well, I don't have the extensive background in the RPG genre as you guys, so I can't really speak on behalf of that. But action games and all these other games that have cutscenes, and this is straight up, I always watch the cutscenes once, always, all the way through in the entirety of what the game was supposed to be. I always give it at least that credit. And if they're bad, then I will always skip them from there on out. But I want to see what the story is, what they're trying to get across here, what the game's about. Unless it's a game like Half-Life 2. Like I go through that about once a year. I always sit down and play that and go through it, and I watch it, all the cutscenes on everything, all the way through. I just love that game. But once, all the way through, and then usually never again. What about you, John?
I'm kind of with like you, Jason. I like to watch them once through, and then if I need to skip through it, say I die and I need to watch it again, I'll skip through it, obviously. But the worst is when you can't skip through it.
Oh,
the games that don't allow you to skip through it, that's annoying. That sucks. But I typically watch it once, and then I don't watch it again after that. There's no need to. But yeah, guys.
I generally sit through them no matter what, because I'm always worried I'm going to miss something like really, really important, which you never do. And then some scenes, like I believe me, I love the game Final Fantasy 13, but they do a lot of cutscenes where they're just the characters just repeating the same things to each other and over again, and are talking in circles. But I still sit there pleasantly and watch them and take notes, and that game's got a complicated enough storyline. So,
and for me, for the most part, I enjoy the cutscenes. And the narrative seems that as I mature as a gamer, I'm looking more for rich stories. Like I was in heaven last year with Heavy Rain and Alan Wake, and I couldn't even fathom skipping anything. There is one game though for PC. It's a little known game, and I'm not really going to get too into it. You guys can look it up. You can Google it, and you can figure out what I'm talking about. But it's a little known game called Bazooka Cafe. And it's a text adventure, and even though it's an interesting enough story, I guess, and it's translated from Japanese, so it's kind of a bit more of a fan translation, but it feels like a fan translation. I don't know why, but there's something about it that just makes me want to skip through the dialogue and cutscenes and get to the meat and potatoes of it. But that's probably the only game. So again, Google Bazooka Cafe. Big Mike's shaking his head because I actually have it up on the computer screen right now.
Nice. So this is a section where we're going to talk about games we've been playing recently, and I'll just start her off. It's kind of funny, the game that I've been playing recently, and I kind of went crazy one night and just played like 5 hours of it, and that was Death Smiles. And I picked up a copy from Game Deal as a sealed copy, and I just thought I was going to put it away and never play it, just because I didn't want to open it, because it was nice and sealed. But I'm like, fuck it, I buy games because I want to play them, and so I opened it up, I put it in. And I'm not an achievement whore by any stretch of the means, but I just kept looking at the achievements. I'm like, I can do that. I can do this next one. I can do this next one. And I just kept, it's a shooter game for anybody who doesn't know, with gothic Lolita girls. It's kind of I don't know. I don't know. It's not really my type of game that I would say that I would be playing. That's what I thought was interesting about it. And it's kind of funny. When you finish a level, all the girls moan. It's the funniest fucking thing ever. You know, you finish it and your score comes up and all of a sudden they go, ah. It's like, what the hell is that? What? Yeah, what's the moaning about? I just finished the fucking level. You know, like. But anyways, that's what you get with a Gothic Lolita type of shooter game from Japan. But it's a pretty good game. They call it like these bullet hell shooters, but it's pretty easy, to be honest with you. You can put it on super difficult levels. You can still get through it. But to get all the achievements, that's the trick. And I didn't unlock them all, but probably I think about 300, 400 of them I got in that one sitting. So, anyways, that's the only kind of thing I've been actually playing. Dragon Quest V has been sitting there, and I haven't been playing it. I feel really guilty 35 hours in. But that's me. Pete, what have you been playing?
Try and go through this as quick as I can. Besides Final Fantasy XI, which I have to say I'm really happy with the gameplay in that game because I am not truly addicted to it. This is my second day. I didn't play yesterday, and I'm probably not going to play it today. But I can safely say I'm still looking forward to playing it, but I'm not craving playing it, so that's a good thing. I played a game on the WiiWare called And Yet It Moves. I did a live stream of this. I know, John, you caught a glimpse of this game. Very unique platformer. There's no enemies in the game. Well, actually, there are. I take that back. There's demon hamsters and such in the game with red eyes and horns. But the cool thing about it is you actually use the Wii remote and you tilt it left and right. So the way I played it was I held the remote like, an old style NES controller, and you tilt it left and right. And what this does is it tilts the game world 360 degrees, and that's how you move yourself around the levels. So you jump around, but most of the time you're pausing. It's really hard to describe without seeing it, but you can press the one button on the controller and it stops your character in midair and lets you rotate the level. And whenever you let go of the button, depending upon where you've rotated the level to is where your character will fall to. So it's got some really interesting puzzle elements in it and a graphical style that has sort of like a cut cardboard, paper mache kind of look to it. It's very, very interesting. It's definitely my kind of game. I really enjoyed it. I'm almost at the end, I believe. And recently I've had a craving to get into some roguelike RPGs again. So I bought a game on eBay called, what the hell is it called? It's Nightmare of Jaruga on the PlayStation 2, which I haven't opened yet, but it was only like $5 brand new. So I'm looking forward to cracking that open. But to tide me over until that arrived, I was playing Izuna, the Unemployed Ninja on the DS. And the first one, and this is where it's getting bad. Like, I didn't even know that I owned the second Izuna, but apparently I do, because I was just going through my collection today for 3 DS games, and I own it, and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, a fan of the show just sent me a copy of that Izuna 2 the other day. Haven't put it in. Is it any good?
I haven't played the second one. I actually started with the first. I'll tell you, Johnny, they are very intimidating. Like, you have to know what you're getting into before you play it, because if you go into this not knowing what to expect, I don't know if you've played a roguelike before, but basically you're going to go into the dungeons and you're going to collect weapons and items and you're going to get them force-fed to you. You're going to have so many items and such, and you're going to level up, and the dungeons are randomly generated, and the graphics are little...
we played these games before. This is just like that Tornico's Adventure back in the day.
Yes, yeah, just like that.
Yeah, okay.
And you're going to die and you're going to lose all your items, and at least in the first one, I've been keeping my levels in the early dungeon, so it's not too brutal. But I really enjoy these roguelike games because I get a sense of, accomplishment, a sense of moving forward and evolving my character. And there's just something about knowing that death is going to set you back to almost the beginning again, So
fucking, yeah, frustration.
Oh, no, don't believe me. It sounds like the worst thing ever. But when you get to that point where you're building your character up and making them more powerful and getting awesome weapons and armor, you can feel the sense that your character is becoming truly stronger. And then when you're about to die and you use that one healing item you have left and you defeat the enemy, like, it really feels so different than any other game out there. So I'd encourage you, if you've never played a roguelike before, check out like Final Fantasy Chocobo's Dungeon on the Wii, or the next game I'm going to get into right now, which is Shiren the Wanderer on the Wii, which is the second Shiren the Wanderer game to come out in the United States. The first one was on the DS called Mystery Dungeon Shiren the Wanderer. The great thing about the Wii version is that it's in 3D, so the graphics aren't that bad for those of you that really hate the look of roguelikes, because most of the time they don't look that great. but it has a normal and easy difficulty. Easy difficulty will not delete your items when you die. It also will not delete your levels when you die. Whereas normal mode, which is the mode I'm playing on, you will still lose your items. However, a lot of the dungeons do not. If you die, you don't lose your levels. And this is sort of like a nice introduction to the roguelikes because there's items that will instantly revive you when you die. But in short, I'm really enjoying it. Moving on to, I just had a weird sense to go back and just play some DS RPGs. So I popped in Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey and tried to see if I can get back into that a bit. And I played it for a little bit. Definitely not the easiest game to get back into after you have not played it for a while. It's a dungeon crawler, first person, Pokemon style. If you've never played the Persona games before or the Shin Megami Tensei games where you collect demons and you level them up and you fuse them together. Definitely a great atmospheric RPG. And on the 3DS, I've been playing Rayman 3D, which is a great platformer. I'm still quite enjoying that. I haven't played my 3DS a lot because, well, I've been playing Final Fantasy in a lot of my downtime. And I've also fired back up StarCraft 2 on the PC because I recently did my top 10 games of 2010, which really made me want to go back and play some StarCraft, which I've been doing. And just really quickly before we move away, I just want to say that I've started watching The Walking Dead on the Blu-ray DVD.
I started watching that too, yeah.
I've never seen it when it was on TV. Love it. Like, I can't believe... I actually kind of enjoy watching it this way, so that way I don't have to wait a week for an episode. But I have to say, I'm blown away by it. It is like watching... I've watched 2 episodes so far, and it's like watching a feature-length zombie movie that's just amazing.
So well done, yeah. So well done.
It's you can't even tell it's a TV series.
Go ahead. Sorry, the best thing about The Walking Dead on Blu-ray is you really get to take advantage of... the fact that it was shot on 16mm film, which is unheard of for a TV show. I mean, all TV shows are shot digital now, and the vast majority of movies that are in theaters are not in 16mm. The most recent one I can think of is Halloween 2, the Rob Zombie movie. So it's stunning. So, like Pete, it only gets better from where you are. It's a phenomenal season, and you will want more when you're done.
There's 6 episodes, right? And that's it?
Yeah, it was kind of a preview. It was a preview season, I don't know, to see if it would float, but Frank Darabont, it's his baby, and of course he's the director of Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, and he's really behind it. And anybody out there hasn't seen it and has any interest in, even if you don't really care about zombies, the cool part about the show is, it's about zombies, but it has a lot to do with the human condition surrounding that circumstance. And since it's a show, it actually has room to breathe and to flesh out characters as opposed to an hour 40 minutes of shooting people.
Right.
Very true.
What station is it on?
It was on I think it was AMC.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And just really, really quickly, because I know we're running short on time here, but I've recently rediscovered a game that I forgot about that I really want a Japanese PS2 for. You know, there's a lot of games on the Japanese PS2 I want, like the remake of Nights into Dreams, but the King's Field series, I've never played it before, but there is there is a game called Shadow Tower, which was on the PlayStation 1, and then a sequel came on the PlayStation 2 called Shadow Tower Abyss. And I've watched some gameplay for this game, and it looks phenomenal. Like, it is so atmospheric. It's a first-person dungeon crawl, but it looks great. Now, it is actually from Software, the developers behind Demon Souls, and I could definitely see some comparisons with it. And I have to say, I want this game really badly. So I wanted to get a Japanese PS2. And then I started thinking, I'm like, man, it would be so awesome to just be able to read Japanese. So yesterday, for some God unknown reason, I just started watching YouTube videos like how to learn to read Japanese and how to learn to speak Japanese. And let me tell you one thing, okay? I was up until almost 9 o'clock in the morning watching and reading this shit. And it got to the point where I was watching tutorial videos and I'm looking up how to, there's like 4 different forms of Japanese. And today on my iPod, I downloaded some applications for reading and learning hiragana characters and how to pronounce them. And I'm like, I'm taking this like so seriously. So I'm dabbling in it. I'm like really seeing if this is something I want to pursue. Now, most people are probably like, you're just doing that for the hell of it. But this is something where if you want to learn Japanese, I am serious. Like, I was on here last night for hours looking into this, how in-depth it is, watching YouTube videos of people that give hints for learning Japanese, people that are really passionate about learning the language. This is something that I realize is going to take years if I want to even attempt it. Now I've learned a lot of characters. There's hiragana, katakana, kanji, which is freaking the craziest shit ever. It's basically memorizing, I don't know how many symbols there are, but symbols for like words, which is ridiculous. And then there's romanji, which is, English letters. When you read them out, it sounds, you're pronouncing in Japanese. So I don't know. I guess I'll update you guys as I go along with this and see how far I take this, because I would love to learn Japanese, to not only speak it and read it, but I don't know, just to know a second language and try and get fluent in it. It'll take probably about a year just to hold basic conversations with people. But I think it'll be fun, as a sort of a side hobby. It's going to be self-taught, at least for the first while.
I feel a college course in the works here. I'm calling it now.
No, Pete, you should get Rosetta Stone.
No, I was watching a YouTube video on that, but Rosetta Stone costs like hundreds, thousands of, it's like $1,000.
It's not cheap, but I got one for Spanish. I'm learning Spanish, and you can get one on Craigslist for like a used copy for fairly cheap.
Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe on eBay too.
It's an awesome program, man. It definitely it teaches you visually, not like you don't have to memorize it. You learn it visually like you are when you're a kid.
One way, good thing you brought that up. One way I was trying to look at different ways to learn these characters in Japanese. And the best way I found for myself is, I could be pronouncing this wrong, but mnemonics, where basically you take the symbols that, there are for, say, hiragana is what I'm trying right now, and they basically try and make them into characters and pictures to help you better remember them. So if you see like sort of something that resembles a cow and its horns, you remember that symbol and you kind of pair the saying with it. So like there's something that looks like a yak, and the way you pronounce the symbol is ya. So, that's the way that I remember it. Or a symbol that looks like a bird's beak, it's ku. So you kind of think of a cuckoo bird. That's the best way I found for myself to memorize these symbols.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah.
Quick question for you. In your, I guess this would have happened in your earlier searching on YouTube. Did you happen upon a YouTuber called Miss Hannah Minx?
Possibly.
Oh my God.
I watch so many people. I don't even know why. What is she?
Oh, you would.
Is she the one with the big ass tits?
Yes.
Let's put it this way. She would do like a video segment called J-Wow, and it's Japanese word of the week. And there's one video that she did, and it's her most popular video, and it's how to say exercise in Japanese. And I will never forget this until the day I die. Undusuru. Check her out, Hannah Minx, and then look up her exercise video, and it is.
You won't be even listening to what she has to say. You'll be too busy looking at tits.
Well, isn't she a white girl and she used to live in Japan or something like that? And
she dabbles. She's obsessed with the culture. And let me tell you guys, like watching her, she makes my penis hard. I'm sorry.
Well, if you look at all the comments, people aren't going, "Hey, great show, great content." They're saying, "Hey, look at her tits." Oh, I'd love to finish.
No, they're a
I'm watching it
phenomenal
now.
piece of art, though. It is artwork for sure.
She has the camera like fucking 10 feet in the air, looking down.
Oh, yeah.
So what does she expect?
No, it's all done on purpose. Like you could hear her friend like giggling as they're filming it, and of course they have like the right angle that goes right down our top. But let's face it, guys, if we were all girls and looked like her, the subscriptions would be in the millions.
How many subscribers does she have?
Exactly. She's making probably immense, making a lot of money off that. So you know what? If she wants to have a show like that, that's up to her. Absolutely, knock your tits off. But in the end of the day, like seriously, like. Nobody's saying, "Hey, I learned a really great Japanese word." They're always going, "Hey, go check out the comments on her."
How many subscribers does she have?
250,000.
250,000 subscribers. Wow.
She makes a lot of money.
And how many people actually watch her on mute?
Thing is, though, she doesn't.
She speaks.
She does. She doesn't release videos that often, though. That's the like. So, from my understanding of being a partner and all that, to really cash in, you got to be pumping out the videos.
I think they do, yeah.
Pumping something else, so that's for sure.
Yeah,
Pumping
for
something.
sure. She's hot.
Bye.
Oh,
All right. Speaking of hot, I guess I'll go into what games I've been playing.
awesome.
My brother came over from out of town, and he brought over Bulletstorm for the 360. Have you guys played that?
Yes.
Yes. So I got about 4 or 5 hours into it. I like the whole kicking thing. That was really cool. The first person kicking thing, and that weapon you can use to like draw enemies towards you, like whip them towards you through your glove, whatever. That was really cool. The game got really repetitive, at least on the story. I didn't play online, but through story mode, I just felt it got kind of repetitive. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but
I started feeling the same way. But as repetitive as it was getting, I still felt it was really fun. But I definitely see where you're coming from. Like they introduce new elements and like new weapons, but they don't either have enough, I should say, or they don't introduce them fast enough. So it kind of draws on so long with the same weapons, and the game kind of rides on creativity and kills, but it's kind of limited in the amount of ways you can kill your enemies. I mean, people probably screaming like, "What are you talking about?" But that's just the way I felt when I was playing it.
It's cool when you like you jog your enemies close to you using your weapon, and it slows down, and then you can kick them like in slow motion. That's really cool. You can just click them to the wall or kick them to like in a cactus or whatever, and then like
that's my favorite.
That's cool. That's cool. So I'm about 4 or 5 hours into it. I think I need to get more time to let it settle for me, but definitely an interesting game. I did some live streaming on my Justin TV account, and we did played some of the MVS and Neo Geo MVS. So played some classics like Metal Slug series, games like Samurai Showdown, just some classic ones. That was a lot of fun. I had the game, the cartridge with 111 games in one.
Oh yeah.
So we kind of went through the list. I mean, there's just a ton of them that I tried out. I'm trying to think what else. Whipped out the Virtual Boy and played some Mario Clash, because I know a couple episodes ago, Pete and I were talking about the Virtual Boy, and it kind of made me, hey, I want to check this system out again. So played some Mario Clash, played some Wario Land. I think those are probably the better two games for the system. Tetris is good too. I know, Pete, what's your favorite game for the Virtual Boy?
I think I mentioned it before, but it would probably have to be, I really like Mario Tennis.
Yeah, Mario Tennis is good.
It's the simple pack-in game, but goddamn, is it fun, and does it look really great with the Virtual Boy 3D?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a sucker for Virtual Boys. So.
Yeah, and ever since the 3DS came out, I was always, it kind of piqued my interest in the Virtual Boy. I think it had a lot of potential. I whipped out the Super Nintendo and played Final Fight 2 and Final Fight 3.
Yeah, great games.
Yeah, those are really good games. I know Final Fight 3 was like a later release and kind of more obscure, isn't it? But
it's very expensive.
Yeah, it's very.
How much is it?
One, yeah.
It goes for hundreds.
Really?
Yeah.
Final Fight 3, you said?
Final Fight 3.
Final Fight 3, yeah. That's boxed and the whole.
What's the loose cart go sell for?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's not. It's still kind of expensive for a loose cart.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But no, it's really cool. Both were great beater. No, those were only available for the Super Nintendo, right? They weren't like another.
Yeah, they weren't arcade games.
They were,
they're just Super Nintendo. They were kind of in response to the Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage, yeah. Definitely games that people should check out. I recommend those. I whipped out Super Mario RPG as well and started playing that again. I had a save spot right before the enemy of the final boss of the game, so I kind of continue from there. And it's a hard. That guy you have to beat is super, super hard.
I had the same problem with him.
It's just so frustrating because he keeps coming out with new enemies and it's really challenging. So that's really frustrating. I know I'm going to forget some games. I've been playing quite a bit.
Now, John, calm down. You can't outdo me here. It's not allowed.
Well, it's been 2 weeks since we've actually said what games we've been playing. So I'm trying to think. Trying to think what other games I've been playing. I think I'm going to end there. So, Jason. To you, buddy.
Well, yeah, it has been a couple weeks, and within that time, I did a little traveling. Went to my hometown of Portland, Oregon, where I went and visited the oh-so-awesome Ground Control barcade. Awesome. John, I know you've been there.
Awesome arcade.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's 2-level. They've got what, about 30 pinballs, and what would you say?
60
or so classic games. Majority of them are in dedicated cabinets. Some aren't, but either way, it's a great arcade. They have a bar there. They have food. They also sell like retro consoles and games. Their prices are too expensive. That is one thing. They're way overpriced on that. But you don't really go there to buy anything. You go there to have a beer and play some classic games. They also have that 4-player Pac-Man, whatever it's called. 4-player champion
I
Pac-Man.
saw that in Vegas at GameWorks.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, is it?
It's totally awesome.
It's like
yeah.
cup
Love to play
holders and
that.
stuff too, right?
Yeah. And what else? Well, you know, it must be like 2 million games in 1 week or something, John, because I recently did a live stream. I picked up a super smart, what is it? Super Joy video game handheld, something from China, rather. You know, it has like 168 games in one.
Oh, wow.
And they're like straight ripoffs. Like, this is the thing that Nintendo had a heyday with back in the day. They would actually take these games and copy them over and like change them up a little bit, like take off the title screen for Mario.
Are we talking about the NES games?
Yeah, NES games.
Wait, a ripoff coming from China? Crazy talk, brother. Crazy talk.
I know, right? But they like would take like Donkey Kong and like it wouldn't be Mario. It'd be like, actually, that's exactly it. It wasn't Mario. It was a Teletubby. It's
Really?
ridiculous.
It's funny.
Yeah, so I was laughing
Pikachu
my ass
as well.
off, so I had to stream it. It's just so funny. So anyway, I've been playing that for quite a bit. And what else? Well, my trip to Portland was great. Playing some of that. Oh, I don't know if it's still on sale. Probably not by the time this podcast comes out. But the Outrun Online for Xbox 360 was on sale for 400 Microsoft points. So I encouraged all my friends to get that, which a ton of them did. So I've been playing and streaming that quite a bit recently because that is such a great game to play.
Any
on.
more glitches?
I've just had that one glitch. Did you see it? Did you see what I was streaming it and I was playing 4-player and somehow we were at the very end on like the 15 stage. It's like 20 minutes long, right? I get to the very end and I cross the finish line, but it doesn't finish me. I drive straight through the crowd that's standing there, barrel through the crowd. I go over water. My car's in the water. I'm driving. It looks like grass is flying everywhere. And then I smack into an invisible wall, and my car starts tripping out, starts glitching out all over the place. and I didn't finish. I did not finish, no points. But I was first. I was in first place. It was crazy. I don't know what happened. The game tripped out. And luckily on Justin TV, when you stream, you can create highlight reel. So I went in and created a highlight reel of that because how often do you find glitches like that? You know, it's kind of rare. So
yeah, that's cool.
So I made a highlight reel. If you guys want to check that out, go ahead and search me there on Justin TV. But yeah,
Looks like you played some Smugglers Run too.
I did. Thank you, Pete.
Afterburner Climax, isn't that another game on the Xbox Live?
Yeah, that also was on sale. Yeah,
I want to get that too.
Is that multiplayer? Do you know? I don't know that it is.
I know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I know it's a single player in arcades. So either way, another great title there. Yeah, that's right, Pete. Thank you. You're on my Justin TV right now. I was playing some old school Smugglers Run because while I was in Portland, I was hanging out with my cousin, the dirtiest of them all, the Dongles, and he picked that up. And you know what? That is a fantastic game. I love it. We were just going back and forth. I know there's 2-player mode, but we were just going back and forth, like passing controller off from level to level. And man, there's some stages that are so difficult. But back in the day, in 2000, when that game came out, the open world, the racing, it's such a great time. I mean, who doesn't love getting in a buggy? It would be John's car crossing the border with all his drugs in it. and taking it to a drop point, Anyway, it's a ton of fun. Smuggler's Run is a great title for the PlayStation 2. One of the original launch titles, I believe, or close to, at least a year after.
Yeah, it was launch title.
The first one was definitely a launch title.
Yeah, awesome game. So other than that, I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. That's all we've been getting into over here. But what about you, Big Mike? Terrence,
I've definitely been playing the new Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, tell us about this.
Yeah, I actually wasn't I've been a fan of Mortal Kombat, but to be honest with you, I'm always a bit of a Street Fighter snob. So I kind of said, yeah, Mortal Kombat. Without the violence, there's not much to it, but they've definitely improved the fighting engine in this one. It feels much more like smoother. You can chain together combos much more naturally, not like those pre-programmed ones from Mortal Kombat 3. And overall, like a very nice job. The outrageous amount of gore is still there for all those fans, but for an actual fighting engine for a fighting game, it's very well done. It makes me actually a bit sad that Rare hasn't caught on yet and have started making a Killer Instinct 3 now that.
You and me both, my friend. You and me both.
Capcom's, kind of brought back Street Fighter, and now the Mortal Kombat series is back. It's the next
ready
logic
for it. It's ready.
Yeah, but the problem with Killer Instinct, who has it? Is it Nintendo or is it Rare or is it Midway? Who owns the rights to that game?
Last I heard, and I could be wrong on this, I believe it's Rare, because when they left Nintendo, part of the deal was they kept some of their IPs that they created, hence the Banjo-Kazooie and Perfect Dark.
Okay.
And as far as I know, Killer Instinct was on that list, but like I said, I could be wrong on that one.
Yeah. No, that'd be, I mean, I'm with you on that too. That'd be awesome. But back to Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
So actually, if you guys play it, I highly recommend you play the story mode, because it starts basically at Mortal Kombat 1, and you work your way through with the crazy story. And I'm at the part now where it's kind of gone into Mortal Kombat 2, where Shang Tsung is young again and Sonya is all chained up. And I'm assuming with the cyborg ninjas in there, it's going to eventually go into Mortal Kombat 3, because the first thing we noticed when we were playing it is, with the exception of one character, no one from the other Mortal Kombats is in it. It's just characters from part 1, 2, and 3. So they've kind of, maybe erased that little black mark on their history there and only concentrated on the original trilogy.
Huh. Now, did you get the PS3 or the 360 version?
I ended up getting the PS3 version, so I could, because Kratos was the the special character. Sorry, he's a selectable right away. And when it comes to fighting, like that fighting game like that, which needs really precise, it's not a lot of fireball movements, it's a lot, a lot of forward back. Mm-hmm. The digital pad on the PlayStation 3 just made more sense for that one.
A lot of charge back forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Look at him go.
So other than Mortal Kombat, I've kept my promise, and I'm trying to finish Final Fantasy 13. I bought it when it came out and played it for a bit, then left it and tried to come back. And as you guys know, I'm sure, especially you, Pete, once you try to go back to an RPG, it's impossible. You just got to start over again.
Tough. Yeah. Did you start over with 13, or are you trying to pick up where you left off?
No, I started over, and I'm now 47 hours into it, and I'm hoping I'm near the end, because
avoiding spoilers here, can you give a hint at where you are in the game right now?
I have just started the chapter where it's that awesome cutscene where you interrupt that race and you attack the big mech that can only be hurt when it's staggered. If that makes any sense.
God, I'm trying to remember back. Do you remember the chapter number that you're on?
Oh, that I don't. But I just got off. What did I kill? Oh, I killed the priest. We'll call him. So I don't want any spoilers there for the second time.
Oh, okay.
And
well, at least you got through those battles. Christ, those things had me cursing at the screen.
I just literally grinded for hours until all my characters were completely maxed out as far as they'd let me go. It took hours to do that, but I think it's thankful at the end, because I got through that battle without losing too many controllers through the window. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine? I took a break from 13 when I got to the second boss fight with him, and I took a break because I was just I got to him and I fought him a couple of times. I couldn't beat him, and then I came back a couple months later, and that was my learning curve to get back into the game, was trying to start off beating that boss fight.
Oh.
Not easy.
Yeah, that's gonna make us all lose our hair pretty quick when that happens.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So other than that, so those are the two big ones. I've been playing another bullet hell shooter on the 360, one that I had to buy imports. Moochie Moochie. It's got a bizarre name. Moochie Moochie and Pink Sweets. The most bizarre name ever for a game, but it's another bullet hell shooter from Cave. So I've been playing that as a stress reliever. Been playing a very unhealthy amount of Pilot Wings on the 3DS. Finally, just the other day, got all 75, whatever it is, locations on the free roaming thing. So, and also gotten back into playing Dr. Hauser on the 3DO. If you guys ever played that one,
Now tell me about this game. I know it's an import, but it's really interested me. It's sort of like a survival horror without any horror, right? It's like
it is survival horror. I would say it's more based off of maybe like a Alone in the Dark than Resident Evil. If I remember the timeline correctly, it actually came out before Resident Evil. So yeah, it's more puzzle solving. Now, when I finished this game originally when it first came out, I was working at a video game store at the time, which we brought in import games, so I was able to take it home and finish it. If I remember correctly, there was little to no combat, but it was all these very complex puzzles. Right. And it reminded me of an old Sierra point and click game where you can make one wrong move and instantly die. So there's a lot of trial and error, and the language barrier is not that bad. You'll start to understand what yes and no, and no, you can't do that, and this key works with that. Eventually, there's a bit of a learning curve, obviously, with the language. But it's actually a very enjoyable game. I really enjoyed it. And as I stressed before on other videos, when you play this game, do it like you would Resident Evil or Silent Hill or Alan Wake, like play it with the lights off and the speakers up loud and by yourself. And so you can, because it is pretty creepy, even though the graphics look dated, it's still got that nice creepy atmosphere, and the music is very, very mood setting.
You reminded me when you brought up Pilot Wings. I actually been playing that as well, but I've also been playing the original Pilot Wings for the Super Nintendo this week.
Oh, that's still my favorite actually out of the three, if you can believe that.
I totally agree. It's a great game, but it's probably one of the hardest of the three as well. It's challenging, especially in later stages. And maybe it's just the graphics, the gameplay. I don't know, but it's a super fun game. I love it. And that's another game that uses those passwords, right?
Yes, yeah, which is the only way I got to see the later levels. Right. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Yeah, absolutely, because it does get very, very hard. But no, Pilot Wings Resort is a fun one for sure. Although it's, go ahead, Pete.
Oh, go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say that the 3D, I have to turn the 3D off in that game because it just, I don't know, it's blurry to me.
It's one of those games I think you're forced when you're flying around, you just out of natural habit maybe tilt the system a bit as you're playing, just subconsciously. So I find when I do that, I instantly close one eye to kind of see what's going
you get
on.
Those orange balls that you have to fly and hit through, and those I see double. So especially in 3D, when you put it in 3D, it's a blurry to me. Maybe it's just the way I'm holding it, but I don't know.
No, it definitely does happen.
Yeah.
And I guess the last game I've been playing for a bit is I've always had a PSP, but I ended up buying just the other day a PSP 3000, and with the hookups to hook it up to the TV, because the PSP to me has always felt more of like a console than a portable. So I'm now, even though Lunar is one of my favorite games of all time, I've yet to really play the PSP version. So now I'm playing it properly, kind of like on the TV screen. So it kind of reminds me of playing on the Sega CD back in the day.
And I can finally stop ripping on Big Mike, because this is one of our favorite games together, and we've played all the versions, and it kind of felt very eerie that not only had I played it and cleared it, but Paulo, our sound guy, picked it up and he just devoured it. So the peer pressure was mounting, and finally Big Mike has risen to the occasion.
Nice.
Let me just ask you real quick, Mike, before we move on. How are you playing your import 3D games? Do you have an import console, or do you play them other ways?
Here's the sad truth. I have 3 games that are region free, so obviously I can just play those on the American systems. My other games, which is about 9 or so right now, I have yet to play them because I'm going to break down and buy a Japanese 360. The problem I'm running into now is I've looked online and they're insanely expensive to get. I thought I'd be the smart ass and buy just a little 4 gig model, and the prices, even the places I shop at all the time, are asking crazy amounts of money for them. So I'm a little worried about bringing one in, to be honest with you. And I want to stick with buying the newer model, right? Because if the newer model, it's true, will just eventually break down. So
that's a very good point, actually. Yeah, I never thought about that. It's like if you're going to get an import Japanese 360, get the new model. But no, with the 3DO too, how do you play that on an import 3DO? Or
I'm sorry, the 3DO. The 3DO thankfully is no region lock at all. You can play Japanese games just fine. At least the ones I've played work just fine.
What model 3DO do you have?
I have an FZ10.
Right, that might be my problem.
Yes, that was the thing, Pete, is that they were letting people make the games.
Yeah. Anyway.
Or are you using an FZ1?
Right.
Oh no, the one I have the Gold Star.
Oh, the Gold Star. Okay, yeah. See, I don't have I've only owned an FZ1 and FZ10.
It should all be the same.
Yeah, I think it's all the same.
Really? Shit, I'll be importing some 3DO games right now.
guys, real quick, I have a really sad announcement. We lost Johnny.
I think the listeners realized that when they were talking about Lunar and they didn't hear anything.
Like 20 minutes ago. No, he texted me. He actually he's got no audio on his computer. So he says, "Have a good night, guys," and he wishes he could join us, but he's not able to.
Oh man,
so
no audio. That's weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we still got Terence. He's
Terence. Go ahead, buddy.
Portal here. All right. So as much as I want to get into Mortal Kombat right now, my plate is full, so it is on deck. And the truth is that I have so many games on the back burner that I need to get to. I am constantly ridiculed. A friend of ours from YouTube, Anthony from Anthony Games, he found out that I had not played Portal or Half-Life 2 or Team Fortress, and I swear he was going to disown me as a friend upon hearing that. But truth is there's games right back to the original Dead Rising that I really want to play but haven't gotten to. So, and Stranglehold and all these earlier Xbox 360 games. But what's on the horizon for me right now, what I'm playing is I love the God of War games. I like just smashing buttons every once in a while, but I can only take one of them a year. So even though God of War 3 isn't exactly new at this point, I was too into the newest PSP God of War game, and I loved it to the point where I actually had it in my top 5 games of 2010. But be that as it may, I cannot put down one God of War game and pick up another. I need distance between those titles. So I finally picked it up, and I'm going through that. I'm also going through Dead Space 2. So far, so good. I think if I could gripe about something, I really wish they didn't give the main character a voice. One of the coolest things of the original Dead Space was, with the exclusion of some grunts when he's stomping, that was it for a voice. So you could identify or play through the character more. I felt it was more of an immersive experience. And with this one, you get the character stomping and he's screaming profanities like a sailor. So it's the only bad thing I could say about it, but it's gorgeous, and I love survival horror games, and it's really weird that EA is the one that's kind of trying to bring that back. I also cannot put down Super Street Fighter 4. I love that game, and actually have my girlfriend and a good friend of mine. I've been teaching them how to play Street Fighter because neither of them had really played it, so it's a really cool experience. Like, all of us have been playing Street Fighter since the beginning, right? But having people that haven't really touched it and really going through and teaching them techniques and how to do the moves, I can't watch them do it, without me getting in the action. So I've picked that up. Also, I got into Braid, which is a Xbox XBLA title, and I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of the game because it was pretty popular when it was around. But the thing that freaks me out about this is it's a side scroller. It is a puzzle game where you don't actually kill anything. It's all about time and rewinding and getting yourself in a good position to solve puzzles. But every time you start a new chapter, you go to a series of pedestals, and on those pedestals are books, and you read each book, and it gives you a couple of lines. And it's actually downright creepy what the backstory is, and I'm not far enough along to really grasp what it is. So right now I'm just speculating, but man, it is not what I was expecting, and I just talking about it, I wish I didn't have to go to bed because I'd be playing that. And lastly, I'm playing a Sega CD game. A game that I always wanted to play when I was younger, but never got my hands on it, is Cobra: The Space Adventure. And it's based off
bring that up. Yeah. When you guys were talking about Snatcher, I was going to actually ask if any of you played that, because I was looking into getting a copy, but it's pretty rare and expensive. So tell us about this.
Yeah, it's based off of an anime show in the 70s or 80s. It's a long running thing, and there's a lot of I guess movies, right, Mike?
Yeah. Actually, my brother back in the early 80s actually got me into it. So yeah, it's an older anime. It looks very 1970ish, if you know what I mean.
And it was the one of, if not the last, North American releases for Sega CD, and it's not as good as Snatcher per se, but games like this and Rise of the Dragon will still get my interest. Like I just love just that text adventure, and so far, it's pretty cool, man. I could really put myself back to my teenage years when it came out, and I would have really enjoyed it then, and then based off of that, I'm really enjoying it now. So that's what I got going, and I just wanted to add one thing, John. Last night, I saw your tweet that you were on Justin TV, so I went on that and play some Final Fight and Captain Commando. Man, that was pretty.
Yeah.
It was honestly the first time I've ever done that. I've never been on Justin TV before. That was like a virgin experience. It was so cool to see you kind of just going through with your arcade machine, and it was it was cool, man. Thanks for doing stuff like that. It's
for sure. Thanks for joining me. I'm not sure how people enjoy that or not. I just watched me go through these random games on my Ultimate Arcade 2. So yeah, we played Final Fight, Captain Commando, some of the classic Atari games. It was fun. So good, man. Thanks for joining.
No problem. Actually, I wish I would have had an account signed up, but because I wanted to make a comment, but I'm like, I'm just gonna play this one out and be quiet and just see what you do, and then so it was awesome though. Like I love the first boss in Final Fight with that ridiculous cackle laugh.
Oh yeah, Yeah, and the hookers too. You know, they don't have the hookers in the Super Nintendo version.
That is that. I'm telling you, we could talk for hours on the controversy around that.
Yeah. What's her name in the final fight? I forget. It's
there's
Roxy?
Poison and Roxy.
Yeah, Poison and Roxy. That's right. Yeah.
Transvestites, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's funny.
You guys have heard about that story, right?
Oh yeah.
It's amazing what they were able to get away with, but
yeah,
that was a good time for gaming. It really was.
Absolutely, it's tough. All right, guys. Anything else on episode 40?
The big 40
in the wraps.
Awesome.
Well, I just hope you guys aren't over the hill at this point.
No, we got another 10 episodes, I think.
40 is a new 30.
Yeah.
And we just, of course, I'll speak for Terence as well here. We just wanted to thank you guys enough. We can't thank you guys enough for inviting us to join you on your 40th episode. That was very awesome, you guys, and we had a fantastic time.
No, I appreciate you guys joining us. And why don't you guys plug your channel one more time, and where can people find you?
All right, guys, we have a little show on YouTube. It's called ChargeBackForward. So you can find us on youtube.com/ChargeBackForward. And it's a show that covers many things. We do unboxings, art comparisons. We'll do bigger levels that really have a multitude of directions. And it's just a couple of grown guys, just joking around, making fools out of themselves, and just sharing our love of video games with everybody that is kind enough to watch.
And definitely enjoying the whole culture that goes with video game collecting and talking about it. It's a fantastic community, and we're happy to be part of it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks again, guys. Yeah, it's a
Do
pleasure.
you guys have a website as well?
Yeah, actually we do, chargebackforward.com. And right now it's pretty much our portal to people that are interested in watching our videos but aren't familiar with YouTube. Once in a while, Big Mike will post a blog on there, and I promise we're gonna post some pictures very soon. And yeah, it's a simple website, but it gets the job done right now. People who want to see the latest episode or needs a link to YouTube, they go to that, and it takes care of business.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Jason, thank you.
No, John, thank you.
Pete, thank you.
Thank you. Has Johnny thanked the shit on text message and all?
Did he